Oh, happy Tuesday night. 6 weeks into the regular season, man. It was probably my toughest week across all my leagues this last week, and I was really sad for a moment. And then I remembered how sad I am when football's not happening. So I'm doing okay. How are you doing, Jeremy?
Yeah, no, I feel the same. I will say it was a tough week because in my home league, which is the whole reason this site exists, was this home league. I was just like, well, no, I was like getting way too into it, and the Panthers, suck and still maybe kind of do. So I was like, I can't get too invested in the Panthers going 1-15 every week or every year, and then I was like, okay, let me just pour my heart into this site. But my home team, I had to bite the bullet and trade away Christian McCaffrey and kind of accept that my team isn't gonna be the top team, and it's been the top. I haven't finished lower than third in 5 years, I think
Dang.
5 or 6 years.
Well, the Panthers might not suck, so maybe this is the year to kind of start to do the little 1 year rebuild for you to, 3-3, just coming off the big win. Cowboys weren't
That's
buckled
true.
up. I'm already seeing the Rico questions, but before we get into any of that, I want to give a minute shout out to our boy, guys, Jeremy, Dynasty-Daddy.com. Jeremy, #1, Scott Fishbowl. How many teams in here, Jeremy?
I believe it's 5,028.
5,028, top scorer, the greatest mind in fantasy.
Stop the count.
Sounds
Stop the count now. It's official. I've won it, right?
Dang, only player at 2K right now, 2016 points. You want to give us some of the key players on the team?
Yeah, I mean, if you click
Goofy format
if
too.
you have it pulled up, you can click up the C team, but I can also shoot you.
Oh yeah.
If you want to get real crazy, we can pull it up in Dynasty.
Dang it, this is with some disappointing. I mean, Saquon could turn this thing around too. He hasn't really been smashing the lineup.
So just to give everyone a format update, if you don't know, it's 2.5 point per reception. So everyone was like, oh, wide receivers are huge, but it's also 0.5 point per carry. And I believe there's some quarterback juicing. But I think a lot of people that didn't dive into the format panicked at the 2.5 point per reception in the Superflex. So it's like, oh my gosh, I need quarterbacks. Oh my gosh, I need wide receivers. I was like, wait a minute. If I get a wide receiver that gets 5 catches or a running back that gets 5 catches, that's just like a walking 30 points, even if they don't do well. So I just started. That's why I took Barkley in the first round, which hasn't really panned out. But then I also took Bucky. For me, I mean, if you listen to our shows in the offseason, I wasn't very high on Bucky at the price that he was at. But I was like, I'm taking a Bucky. I took a Chuba. Knew the Panthers would have to lean on the run game. We obviously say that with Rico Dowdle now.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams. I took all these rookie running backs. Skattebo, Hampton. I didn't take Gene D because his price was very expensive.
Yeah.
But I have Giddens, Tootin, Hampton, Sean Tucker, Chuba Hubbard. I did take Luther Burden later in the draft. Like maybe he does have some upside there.
Yeah.
And then there's also a tight end premium on top of that. But like I picked up Harold Fannin as a waiver. I picked up I think I just drafted JT Sanders as my tight end. I was like, but it's all flexes. So I was like, I didn't even need to worry about that. And then I accidentally auto drafted Jared Goff and Drake May. I wanted to fade quarterback even more than I did, but
I mean, what a hit with Drake May so far this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Drake May's been fine. Jared Goff is all right. Technically it's probably better for me to start like if I took a running back in that range, that would have been a better start. Like if Chuba's back and Chuba and Dowdle are both there, maybe I roll with both of them. But so far, I've been hammered by injuries, but I have all the backups, right? I have Bucky, I have Hampton. I had Chuba. I don't have Hampton's backup, but I had Rachaad White. Obviously, he's walking 40 points in this league. Rico Dowdle, I mean, 66.9 points. That was a nice performance for your boy. I was also at that game. Watching Rico go ham. So
what a game. What a storyline too. The former team. I love that stuff, man. Buckle up.
No, that was like the perfect revenge game. So
let's I
don't know.
Let's jump right into it.
Fun.
We had the question here from Kevin, and I want to get the Panthers fan perspective, I'll let you talk first with, I think it's a loaded question. What are we doing with Rico?
Mhm.
I think it's pretty team dependent because I think he kind of falls into that camp of there's certain teams where I'm totally fine to make the Rico bet of like, hey, maybe the like 65-35, 70-30 that we had at the beginning of the season with Chuba is swapped now. And it's going to really be a hot hand. And, Chuba didn't even practice last week. I mean, there's a chance we get one more game of Rico Peterson here. So I want to know what your Rico
against the Jets.
Yeah, I want to know what your Rico take is here.
Yeah, I mean, my take is this gives me shades of like Devonta Foreman from a couple years ago, where I forgot who was the starter then. It might have been CMC or something, or I think we may have just traded CMC, and then Deontay Foreman came in and just dominated. Had a couple amazing performances back to back. This is one of the reasons I always say, like, you want to have those backup guys, especially those high end guys, because all it changes. The opportunity is there. They still have to run the ball, especially a team like Carolina that has an above average offensive line. And
they were missing some guys this last game. I think a big thing is like the scheme this year is looking really good. Like I think there was two or three guys that were missing this last week.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely a little banged up, but a big one's Icky has been back the past couple weeks, and he's not a great pass protector, but a great run blocker as a left tackle. But I mean, I think for me, this is why you hold all those backup running backs. And I think if you are one of those rebuilding teams that all of a sudden has a Rico, certainly you want to be looking to sell where you can. If you're a contender, this is, hey, found gold, right? You didn't have to take, like me in Scott Fishbowl, I didn't have to take Rico Dowdle very high, but all of a sudden he's dropping very game winning performances for me in that league, and he's doing it for everyone. So I feel fine starting him. I do expect Chuba to come back and probably be like in a 60-40, 55-45, kind of go with the hot hand type of approach, because Rico's been too good for me to not. I mean, he's been averaging like 8 yards a carry. And that being said, it's against, the Dolphins and the Cowboys. So I'm not super optimistic that that's going to continue, because I don't think that really has ever continued, someone averaging as much as he had. But I mean, that's why you roster those backup running backs, especially the high end ones.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I do think I like your shout outs for the backup running backs. But yeah, I think if you're not using Rico, I mean, just with the age, I think like best case scenario, I know we were talking about it earlier on the video that potentially will drop Thursday, maybe. Thursday. Some of our favorite buys for contenders and rebuilders. But yeah, I think Rico, like best case scenario, especially with Chuba getting the contract, we're probably looking at like Joe Mixon, Houston vibes. I mean, at his age, but I mean, can't knock running hard. And I do think, Panthers running scheme is looking good. I think that's a team that, actually, I was going to say no shade to Bryce Young, but I think this is a team that wants to, build their offense through the running game. But yeah.
Would you send a mid-second for Rico Dowdle on a contending team? Mid to late second.
I would probably try to exhaust my options. Like, what does Javonte Williams cost? Like those kind of running backs where I feel a little bit more confident in like the workhorse role maintaining through the end of the season. Just because I do think best case scenario, we're looking at a 60-40, 70-30 split for Chuba. Because Chuba hasn't been bad, like to start the season. It's not like Chuba's been terrible and it's like, oh man, this running game's been saved, but you just can't put that back in the bottle. I know Canales, I think the report was, he was asked about, like, is Rico the RB1? And he said, we'll see, was the only response. And he's been very much like, it's a good problem to have two good running backs, which I think is true. Like, I don't think Chuba is nothing, but I don't think Chuba is the kind of talent that is like going to keep Rico still in that kind of 30% role that he was at the start of the season. So I'd probably try to find a more creative way to buy him. Like if Rico, like I have Rico on a team where we're kind of in between tanking and not tanking. And we sent somebody who's pretty loaded at tight end. We sent them Rico and a third for Harold Fannin Jr. in like a 0.5 tight end premium. And which I think is kind of an interesting, like to a contender move who's pretty loaded at tight end. He countered with Aaron Rodgers and a fourth. So we are not moving Rico Dowdle right now. I know. Shout out to Super Nintendo. He watched the stream. I appreciate you. Even though I didn't like the counter, I appreciate you.
I've been looking at the trade database, and there's just, I mean, every other trade is just a mid-second or random second for Rico.
I mean,
and
especially in these PPC
like, hey,
kind
desperate.
of leagues. Like,
I mean,
even with the split, I mean, he's getting what, like these 30 carry games? Like, I don't think that's going to maintain when Chuba comes back and he's like cramping up at the end of these games. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it looks like 18 carries for Rico and, 12 for Chuba. Like, that wouldn't surprise me at all if that's like a weekly occurrence for the Panthers.
They might be kind of like a reverse of like the Chargers, where everyone's like, ooh, you want to get all these passing options because there's so much volume to go around.
Mm-hmm.
It might just be like, yeah, the Panthers are going to run the ball 30-something times a game. So even when Chuba comes back, it's like, well, I mean, 15 rushing attempts per back is still, a high-end running back one at this point.
Yeah, and I do want to give credence to the matchup thing as well. There were definitely, I think the stat was he didn't have a carry over 15 yards this last game. So no like big explosion. Like he used all those 30 carries to get to that 186. But but I mean, there was some like he's making a cutback and it's not like, oh, he made a sick cut to like beat this linebacker. Like the whole side of the field was just open on some of these cutbacks. But I mean, he's running hard. Like I don't want to knock it at all. But we can move past the Rico hype. I'm sure we'll get more Rico questions. Deservedly so. He deserves to be talked about on a Dynasty Trade show. Kendrano's here. Yo, kicked back in my hotel room for work. Shout out to the work hotel trips, man. I remember watching a solo Jeremy stream on my work trip last year. Ready for the stream. An early trade for ya. Rice or Skattebo and a mid to late first. It's a shallow start 9. 0.5 PPR. Ooh, at 0.5 first downs. Makes this interesting because I really was leaning Rice, but I think running backs, especially like short yardage running backs in these 0.5 for first down leagues, like that is pretty nice.
And in half PPR as well.
Right. Yeah.
So like
it's kind of foot to the fire. I talked about like I'm gonna call myself out a little bit before this crazy Eagles game when we did the rookie draft this last stream. I said Skattebo could be one of those guys who's like in this mid-first range that we're like talking about. Yeah, he probably shouldn't be moving up this far. He probably should be closer to like early mid-second. We were taking him in rookie drafts. It was Tracy's first game back, and Tracy played more long down and distance. But I mean, Eagles defense was hurt, but I don't know. How can you talk down on the 3 touchdown
playing?
Yeah. How do you talk down on the scat performance? Are you taking the scat in the pick? That might just be the good process move, even though it's a shallow league.
That's kind of the thing. That's kind of like my thought process is it might just be a good process move. The issue is like if it's a late pick, it's a little less exciting, but with the half PPR, with the 0.5 first downs, with the run that Skattebo is getting, especially if I need production now, I feel like Skattebo is probably going to be more impactful in that format, and you get the additional flexibility. That's just, I think that's one of those just like fair ones. Like it's like hard to sit there and be like,
that's a price to buy Rice,
but it's also hard to be like, yes, yeah.
Especially his first week back.
It's not a smash on either side, so yeah.
I think I like these kind of moves where it's like the worst. I mean, dude, the worst case Skattebo thing. It's like the whole like culture thing. It's so hard to do the narratives with fantasy and with NFL, but like, how is he not just like one of the faces of the Giants franchise right now? Like him and Dart, especially after that
dude, he's crazy.
Primetime Eagles game win, like the way he runs, like, yes, like the big play stuff, whatever. And I think the pass catching stuff we saw in some of these Russell Wilson games, we might not see translate when Tracy's fully back. But I think in this kind of format, I'm fine taking the pick. In a worst case scenario, I'm getting, a chance at a mid first in, a shallow league.
My only comparison, culture wise, not efficiency at the position wise, but kind of reminds me a little bit of like Gardner Minshew when he was with the Jags.
Okay.
And
just the
like just kind of like the crazy, like, yeah, he's just like, oh, this dude like smacked his hand with a hammer so he get redshirted, like just like the crazy stories coming out about Gardner Minshew is like a senior or something. Like his dad's a senior, but there's no junior or whatever.
Yeah.
Like just all the weird stories coming out about Scat. It kind of reminds me of like a player that kind of came out of nowhere and is really just defined the culture for a team that really needs it.
Yeah, and the thing with like Skattebo, the last thing I'll say before we move on, is the like testing stuff and where he went in the draft, like there were a lot of people I respect opinions on, like a rookie prospect, college prospect wise, that were like, this guy and his production and like just watching the games, like he looks like a running back that could be successful in the NFL. And I think we're seeing that in terms of like the tackle breaking stuff versus what Tracy and Singletary have done for the Giants in this season and last season. So I think it's like not totally out of left field for like a 4th round running back that had his production. I think it's one of those things where he fell a little bit based off of some of the metrics and him not running the 40 at the combine. It's like, yeah, he's just like a slow plotter, like cool college highlights. But you know, we get 20 of those a year in the draft that have cool college highlights.
I mean, he's a slow Christian McCaffrey. I mean, that's kind of what it is.
Peyton Hillis. Shout out to all my white running backs out there.
I will say too, it kind of goes to the Rico situation of Tracy getting injured just really opened it up to where all of a sudden he got all this work and really took advantage of it. And a lot of times the way I like to look at it isn't like, oh, I need to go buy the Camp Skattebo. It's like, who are the cheaper options that have that type of path? Let me try to take a couple of those bets on what could be the next guy, not being like, oh, let me go pay the elite price now for a Rico Dowdle or a Camp Skattebo, because now you got to pay up.
Shublub here, I know was here right before the and Jeremy, I'm gonna need a little bit more life out of these here early dropping trades. You got to give me an emoji, at least a question mark. I saw that one you put in there. That one was just that was a sad one. It's okay.
I'm sorry. It was a long day at work. All right. It was a long day at work.
I understand. Shublub.
I was like, I need to schedule this stream. I was doing all my scheduled posts on social media.
All right,
I was
my bad.
doing work. I was like,
I shouldn't have brought it up. Shublub here. Dynasty 12-team PPR, 0.5 tight end premium. This is a startup. I'm in first place right now, but plagued with injuries. Dang. Roster is Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, Dak, Spencer Rattler, Bucky, James Cook, Pollard, Rashad White. Okay, Rashad White's nice. James Conner, CD, Nabers, Ibuka, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Chris Godwin, Jaylen Coker, Torrey Horton, Bowers, Ferguson, AJ Barner. See, the thing is, like, 12-team, without knowing the starters, like a lot of the injuries, I feel like you have pretty good depth around it. Like, yes, you have Bowers, who's not hurt, but you have Jake Ferguson. Yes, you have Nabers and Ibuka, who are hurt right now. You have AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, CD coming back. I have no idea what to do at this point. Eagles have been pitiful, and now I have 60% of my starters injured. I'm hoping CD, Igmeka, Brock, Godwin can come back and give me a chance. But what should I do? Also, someone wants to get Rattler for me for a 27-second. That's an easy offload, isn't it? My week 9 is going to be rough with buy. Sorry for the spam. No, you're totally good. I appreciate all the context. Like, I'd much rather have a lot of this context than have to ask back and forth. So I appreciate it all written out. With this QB room, honestly, in all my QB rooms, I'm taking a second for Spencer Rattler, but especially in this one, Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, and Dak Prescott. I know Kyler might miss this next week with the foot injury. It sounded like he was kind of close, but it sounds like it's kind of this weird, like Liz Frank type. I don't know. But yeah, with this QB room, I'm totally fine moving off of Rattler for a second. And then if you feel the need to, using that second, potentially plus one of these injured players to go to like a tanking team and see if they would take a second and a hurt player for, whatever their best contending asset would be for you. But I think you've got pretty good depth without knowing the starters. All the 27 picks as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, if you are concerned about, I think a second for Rattler is amazing. I think also you have the flexibility of saying, okay, do I not want the second? Maybe that team has a player that's, a Jacoby Myers or some like mid-level wide receiver I can plug in if I don't feel confident about my wide receiver depth or my running back depth. But I certainly don't think this team is like dead on arrival. Bucky should be back soon. James Cook has been doing amazing except last game. Pollard's been solid, not amazing. Rashad White looks great in terms of his usage until Bucky comes back, so that doesn't really hurt you.
Yeah.
And of course, you got Nabers out all year.
You do have to start Tony Pollard this week, unfortunately. It would be the only thing, which I have to start Tony Pollard in some leagues, and let me tell you, I'm not looking forward to clocking in that 9 to 10 PPR points.
No, it's definitely like it's like clocking in like an Aaron Jones, and you're like, please just get past 8 points. And then he does. You're like, fine, that's a win. Honestly, that's the adrenaline hit you need is just like doing what you're supposed to do. But I mean, that's kind of how you have to do, unless you want to spend your entire future to have like the most optimal starting lineup every time. Like that's just, You got to be able to find ways to get cheap production or survive during the hard weeks. But I don't think this team is dead on arrival, given the injuries it has.
I honestly, I mean, I would really like if you were worried about that. If this was a deeper league than I'm envisioning, like if we're looking closer to like a 12-team start 10 or 11, and that's why you're a little concerned, even with some of this good depth, like at receiver with some of these injuries. Like I really would see what Nabers, you either plus that second you're trading for, just in terms of like trading away Nabers hurts, but like if a team, I mean, I know there's teams that will do. Like their team is like, yeah, I want to get points off my roster. Like I would give you, I mean, maybe not Puka, but like one of those receivers up there for like Nabers in a second and a player for JSN right now. Because like the rest of the team is garbage or something. Like one of those.
Do you think you have to put much on top of Nabers to go to like an Amon-Ra?
I think unless it's like if it's fully a like, brother, I know you're tanking. You're 1-5 right now. You're 0-6. Like, do not try to price gouge me on Malik Nabers. But still, I would be willing to do it. Just because, I mean, you're still gonna have CD, Ikbuka, AJ Brown for the next couple seasons. Running back room is Bucky, James Cook. Like I don't want to. You have Brock Bowers at tight end. Like I don't want to like get rid of all my flexibility by like adding a bunch of picks onto Nabers to like make sure I stay up in the upper tier. But I think you're strong enough for the next like 3 to 4 season projection at all positions for you to be able to do a move like that. But I wouldn't overpay. I wouldn't be sending out like firsts to make sure I have like a good starting lineup for this next week, because you said you're already in first place. I think there's a nice little buffer when you're in first, whether you're 5-1 or 6-0. 0-12 won't offload BTJ or Lad to me. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I mean, I guess that's kind of what they would want, right? Like yeah. If they had like a
and you wouldn't want to do it straight up. Yeah, like I would maybe it isn't, you don't get to get the dynasty value, and you kind of treat Nabers like, okay, Nabers is my first round pick for next year, and I'm going to use a second plus a player to get Devonta Adams or something like that kind of thing. I'd be fine with. But yeah, if it sounds like it's, so this is a median league, you talk about 0-12 last place team, like that's the one nice thing. Like your team is good enough, I think, to always, I mean, knock on wood, be beating that median. So I think you got a little buffer. I wouldn't stress out too much about how good your depth is, unless it's like, oh my gosh, I have to start Grant Calcaterra or something. I don't know why that was the name that came to my mind.
That was a deep cut.
It was a good poll though, for having to start a player and feeling terrible about it.
Thank you.
I'm
impressed.
What's up, Harrison? All right, Cooper. 10 team start 10 in premium. Competitive team, lost Nabers. Offered a bottom team Nabers for Rice and Cook. He rejected. Should I offer more, stay put, or find a cheaper alternative? Need some running back help. Yeah, the bottom team, I mean, I'm probably, like, if I'm the bottom team, I'm probably trying to find, I'm probably trying to get more, unfortunately. Like, I know it makes sense in our minds to, like, trade Nabers, to, like, acquire Nabers on a tanking team and be moving these, like, productive receiver assets. You get to tank your pick and everything. But I think I would probably, if I was that team, in my mind, it's like, well, what if Rice is kind of like Nabers and I'm just giving you a free James Cook? Like, I get that mindset in terms of like trying to cash out on the value. So I mean, I'd be willing to offer more. You do have James Cook on a bye this week, but I mean, would you do Nabers for Rice? They probably won't give you a pick back. Like, you probably would have to do like a grosser contending piece. Like, would you do Nabers for Rice and second? Yeah, so I think it would have to be. I think like the value that we're talking about makes sense, but I think like teams that are like the bottom teams don't want to give up picks to do those kind of moves. Like, it'd have to be like Nabers for Rice and Mike Evans. Like, would you do something like that, or does it need to be a better piece than Mike Evans? Devonta Adams, some kind of running back, Javonte Williams instead of James Cook. Like, those kind of like 1 year bets that could be more.
Yeah, I feel like Rice and like Javonte Williams or something. I think that would be about fair if we are thinking about like, because I do feel like what you really would probably need to offer is like Nabers in a second, or plus maybe to get this Rice Cook deal. Like maybe say can I send a second or 2 seconds on top of Nabers and lock it? Because Cook is what, like a top, I don't know what he is now, but I know earlier he was like top 5 as a running back in production. And I know that Rice is certainly, I mean, the issue with buying Rice right now is the discount's gone, right? The discount of the dude not being a starter is gone. And the person that had him has sat on him for probably over a year.
Yeah.
So they're not going to just be like, yes, I sat on this thing for a whole year. Now I'm going to still give you a decently discounted price. They're, most of them are drinking the Kool-Aid. I am too on the teams I have them, where it's like you expect them to go in there and instantly be kind of a low-end wide receiver 1, especially in this new revamped passing offense that the Chiefs have been putting together. So it's hard for me to move Rice right now. Like, I feel like it'd be easier to move like an Amon-Ra or someone like that, or like a JSN, where it's like I know what he's doing. Like, it's hard to know with Rice because, I mean, if he comes out there and is just starting to look like, Travis Kelce 2.0, but as a wide receiver, I then you're gonna be like, wait, why did I just move Rice after sitting on him all this time?
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. Like the Rice moves are so. Actually, I do have a Rice trade, acquired Rice in the Charlie Daddy League. We can pull up that one once we get through some of these. But here, I just I was doing this digging while you were yapping. I'm a totally tanking team. Started from the startup draft. Give me your first round picks. I'm taking this year at everyone. Have like a bunch of firsts. I think I have like 4 or 5 firsts. And I traded away George Pickens, Breece Hall, a 27th third and a 26th second for Malik, Nabers, and James Conner in a 12-team start 10. Mm-hmm. Which is probably like, in terms of like production, and I'm a Breece guy. Like, I don't know, maybe people don't like Breece Hall, George Pickens as much as they like Rashee Rice and James Cook, for sure. I think like both of those pieces are better. So like this is like I was moving Nabers for this price, or acquiring Nabers for this price from somebody that's trying to get production and get some picks back, to put in perspective alongside James Cook and Rashee Rice. Yeah. Because I think most people would trade Pickens, Breece, a second and a third for Rice and James Cook.
Yeah.
All right. That took me too long to find that. But, this is...
I could tell you're itching to bring it up.
Logan, this is like one of those... I get these questions and I like almost don't want to click them because I don't want to have to deal with my own perspective on what it means for my teams.
My own reality.
What do I do with Kenneth Walker as a contender? Okay, other running back as Kyron is nice. I mean, you got the Blake Corum injury. I think the workload's still going to be nuts, but man, I mean, what are the other backs looking like? It's hard because you can't really move Kenneth Walker to like upgrade at running back. Like, I feel like that's such a hard move to do unless you're like so flushed at wide receiver or something and you can kind of do a 2-for-1. But yeah, I don't know. What do you got here? I want to give you hope that there will be better days ahead, but like nothing I've seen from the first 6 weeks of the season makes me think like he's going to have a bigger pie of the goal line stuff or the long down and distance stuff. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Darnold's balling.
I hate to say this, like if you look at like the rush share, right, 46% to Chardonnay's 44%. Like there's not like an easy narrative you can spin of like, oh, this is what, like, oh, the underlying analytics look good. He's just waiting to hit. It's kind of like the Henderson thing too, where it's like, why aren't they playing Henderson? It's like, well, Henderson's the only running back worse than Stevenson right now. Yeah. It's like when you don't have the underlying metrics to back it up, you're kind of like, man, I don't know what to do with Kenneth Walker. Honestly, I feel like maybe trying to pivot off of a Kenneth Walker because he still has the name. Like, I feel like you could get Zach Chardonnay in a plus, and it's like you're probably making the same bet. You just don't have the sexy name of Kenneth Walker.
That's a knife in my heart. I will say the one nice thing is I don't think healthy Kenneth Walker, healthy Charbonnet, that Charbonnet has the upside of what we saw in week 3, week 4, where Kenneth Walker's getting 16 and 19 carries and a target. But unfortunately, like in terms of like fantasy production, if you don't have like locked in receiving role and or locked in goal line role, like unless you're able to hit that every week consistently, it just doesn't really matter. So yeah, I wanna give more hope, but unfortunately, I think what I thought this team was going to like be built through the run, and it would just be this awesome scheme. It is Darnold, JSN, Ballin, and like a true 50-50 gross split. So I think Kenneth Walker, which there were hopes he would be in kind of that back end RB1, he's just kind of like a better projection than Tony Pollard, but a worse projection than all the RB1s you want to play ahead of him.
Would you go from a Tony or not Tony Pollard? I was about to make the Tony Pollard comparison anyway, because
yeah.
But I meant like a Chuba Hubbard. Like, would you just say, hey, like, how you get Chuba Hubbard with this weird banged up thing with the Rico thing? Could I maybe get like a Chuba Hubbard plus a tiny, or do like a third, second swap and pick up a little bit of the flexibility there? But then
I would be fine to do those kind of moves
on the Chuba Hubbard train
for like if I can find somebody that will give me like the value of like, hey, if you want to make the bet, go for it. Like just pay the price to make that bet. I'd be fine to do that. I mean, would you? Article, yeah, I see right here. Article speculating Kenneth Walker's under injury load management for foot problem in this preseason. It's like hard because I like believe that week 1, and then you get like week 4, and like you don't want to go fully game by game in terms of like, well, this is the new norm, what we saw this last game. But I feel like pretty much every game this season, for the most part, has been closer to a 50-50 split than Kenneth Walker like truly dominating drives and goal line stuff. So
Kenneth Walker to me is definitely like a perfect, can I pivot off of him for a different guy just because he has a name. He's kind of like an Alvin Kamara, right? Alvin Kamara still has a name. You could still get a second for Alvin Kamara in some leagues. But if you actually look at the underlying production and kind of the outlook of the player,
yeah,
you should not be getting that quality of asset back for that player. And when you're looking at Kenneth Walker, he's in a committee, a strong committee with another high draft capital running back in a organization that wasn't the one to pick him. So it's like, yeah, they're not going to have a huge level of investment when it comes to some of the names around him. I mean, like Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, Chuba Hubbard. Can I get these guys and get a little plus? I'm taking that, in any time I can.
Would you trade Kenneth Walker? And this is going to be another gross conversation. I was about to make a comparison to this comment here. Condrano's here. Doesn't Sharp stat out better as a pass blocker? Spam throw deep ball CSN strategy seems to be working out well for them. It's the same thing with Samaje Perine and like the snap bumps we've seen for him in the past couple weeks, especially with Joe Flacco this last game against the Packers. He is a better pass blocker and more trusted than Chase Brown. So like in the statue, oh my gosh, Micah Parsons is rushing our 40-year-old statue quarterback. Let's get Samaje Perine some more. And he's been playing a lot of third downs as well anyways, so it's not like it was like a total shift. I mean, who would you rather have right now, Kenneth Walker or Chase Brown? Like, would it be Chase Brown just in the hopes that like the future projects better in terms of positive situation? Or is it where are you making the talent bet that hopefully the talent wins out, quote unquote?
I mean,
both make you feel sad plugging them into your RB2 flex spot right now.
Yeah.
I would lean
Kenneth Walker in the Seattle offense more to get it figured out.
Give me Grant Calvin
Chase Brown.
Yeah.
And like Kenneth Walker is still younger than Chase Brown as well.
Yeah, the only like Chase Brown hopium that I will give is that he looked like a little bit better this last game as a rusher. And like I know 2 receptions for 7 yards looks terrible, but like he has like that week 5 game, like yes, that was the last Browning game we saw. 7 receptions, 21 yards. Like I think he has that in his bag. And the pass protection stuff is tough, but I don't necessarily think Samaje Perine is going to have like a lock on the goal to go stuff or all of the long down and distance, all the third down stuff. So I think like in terms of like talent back conversations, like I think Kenneth Walker is better, but I think purely production, can I PPR scan my way into low end RB1, mid range RB2? I think I'd probably bet on Chase Brown, unfortunately. Any hope Kenneth Walker gets a new team next year if the new regime truly doesn't value him as RB1? Surely they don't pay him this offseason. Heavily invested in Kenneth Walker and Sharps in my leagues. Yeah, I mean, the running back is fickle too. Like we've seen, like I feel like outside of like the James Cook, I mean, even the James Cook range of like a running back that's like been productive and been great and like decent usage, like the Bills were kind of holding out, like didn't want to pay him. And I think that's like the one tough thing with the running back position is we've seen the shift like over the past, 7 to 10 years where unless you're Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey level talent usage, teams just do not want to give you the 3-year, $30-something million contract. We'll just take a rookie. We'll just take Rico Dowdle.
Making running backs are much rarer, right? There's like maybe 5 running backs that are true. Yeah, you just roll with them, right? And it's like the Bijans, the Gibbs, the CMCs, the Barkleys, like those types of guys. I don't think Kenneth Walker is that type of guy, so I could totally see them just saying, yeah, we don't want to pay him a big contract. We do have Charbonnet on his rookie deal. We could probably draft another 4th-round running back in 26 or 27 or pick up another random guy, have the ghost of Tony Pollard back there or something, and just live with that. But yeah, I mean, he could totally end up, getting a 1-year deal with Dallas and being the hype train that everyone gets on next year. So I don't think he's dead. He's still rather young as a player. He kind of, age-wise, it kind of is like the Josh Jacobs, where it's like, how is this dude still this young? He's been in the league like 100 years. Kenneth Walker was drafted very young and is younger than a lot of players around him. Mm-hmm. I do think it's interesting on the Dynasty Daddy trade values. Chase Brown, RB17, Kenneth Walker, RB18. So they are right next to each other.
Yeah.
It's basically a 1-for-1 swap.
And nobody feels like they're getting good value for them and nobody wants to pay for them is where they're at across like all leagues. So that I think they'll stay right around there. All right, Jamal here. 10-man, 1 QB start 7. Got offered Kenneth Gainwell and a 5th for Downs. I don't really care about 5th-round picks in a 1 QB start 7.
In that shallow, yeah.
Downs, I mean, you probably just take the like player bet of like Downs has a more of a chance to matter to someone in a trade that I could use. I don't know if you're getting many 2-for-1 trades in a 1 QB start 7, but I mean, the snap stuff and route stuff is still not great for Josh Downs. I think he still was at like closer to 55% with the Alec Pierce return as well. But man, the target per route run stuff, scored this last week. Like he has a much better chance of like stringing together meaningful performances that will matter for people in the league. So I guess I'm taking that side.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a shallow league, right? Like you just got to talk to yourself into in what world am I starting Josh Downs? And that's a good thing for me in a 10-man start 7.
Yeah.
And if you're starting him, it's probably bad. So the fact that you can get some value for him, I don't think Kenneth Gainwell is that great. I mean, honestly, can you just get like a pick? Can you just get like a random second or something? I'd much rather do that.
Yeah.
But sure, give me a Kenneth Gainwell. Maybe I can flip him or just hold on to him.
Would you take a third?
Have a decent role
in this like 2/3 for Downs or something?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that doesn't equate to
that.
Kenneth Gainwell in a 5th. So like I don't think that's happening, but like so it'd probably have to be like a 3rd straight up. Like if someone's coming to you with this deal, like they at least like Downs enough to send you something. Like, can I get anything different, even if it's like Brashard Smith or something, like something that has some sort of upside? Like that's like the kind of bets I want to make in these kind of leagues that are super shallow.
Well, he did say he's 1-5. His overall rank is 2nd, which is good. That means it's a very valuable team. Starter rank is 5th, so just underperforming in terms of what the starter rank is, and that is rest of season ranking. So maybe things could swing up, but
it's probably some of these like Harvey is probably a big part of that. K9 if you're starting Harvey versus like your overall rank versus your starter rank. K9 and then Marv's going to be out this week. London Odunze. Hey, maybe you got to play Josh Downs. Gets it 2-5. No, that's tough. That's super shallow. Like I probably need to be in one. Should we? The answer is no. I'm not going to do this, but I still want to ask the question. Should we join like one like insane shallow league? I'm in a 12-team start 9, which like feels super shallow. Like everyone is like I'm trading. I traded like Drake London did 2 firsts for Justin Jefferson a couple years ago because it was like, yeah, just give me the best player. Like I don't even care how much it costs me.
Yeah, you just need a guy that's going to get good, be the best. That's the hard part about the shallow leagues like that. Like, it's not
Yeah.
even a dynasty league, and at that point, it's like, do you just have Christian McCaffrey? Like, do you have
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey? Do you have Bijan? Do you have, Jamar Chase last year? Do you have Puka? Like, do you have the guys that are just putting up those crooked numbers? Because you're gonna win. Like, if you have a player score 40 points, if you have RB1 Rico Dowdle,
True. It really is it really is a matter too of like the only thing that like getting firsts if you're not having like building out like the sickest team. That's the other thing in these shallow leagues is like accumulating first when you don't need them. So like players that when people type into KeepTradeCut, it's like, yeah, I'd pay a first for Devonta Smith. It's like, dude, am I 10 team start 8? F Devonta Smith, bro. Like what is he doing for me? Like my whole bench is Devonta Smiths. I got Rashee Shaheed. I got Michael Pittman. I got 10 Devonta Smiths on my bench. Give me a first round pick. Like that's what you want to do in these leagues is you get first where you're either making the pick or that's your consolidation because 2-for-1s feel better, I think, in those shallow leagues when it's a first round pick versus here, take my Devonta Smith and Michael Pittman and Debo. Can I have Jamar Chase?
Yeah,
like hell no. But like 2 firsts plus Devonta Smith, it's like, oh, okay, 2 first round picks. Like, that's pretty nice. Another shallow one here.
It's art of the deal.
I'm a rebuilding team in a 10 team start 8. Would you trade Addison for Swift in 2 seconds? 26 second and 27 second.
Another shallow.
I like Addison. I'm a little nervous about I'm a bit nervous about the JJ McCarthy return for Addison's value like throughout the rest of the season. And it's not necessarily like I think JJ sucks and that's a part of it. I think it's that like this team might not be as pass happy as we've seen with Carson Wentz and the previous last 2 seasons, Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, backup quarterbacks that they've had before that. I think this team like kind of wants to play through the run.
This team wants Darnold back.
They want Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones. But yeah, they do want Darnold back. But the Swift is probably the tough part. Like, can I find a different player than Swift if I'm truly a rebuilding team in a shallow league? Unless I'm moving Swift.
I would just take this trade for the value and then be like, can I just if I even get a single second for Swift, which after last week, you probably can get more.
Yeah.
You might be able to flip them for 2 seconds or, staple one of those seconds to them and get a first. But I think Swift is going to be a much more impactful player in a 10 team start 8. People got to start running backs. Running backs get injured all the time.
Yeah.
People get scared of usage. You telling me the guy that picked up Michael Carter and is starting him in a shallow league would give you 2 seconds for Swift or 2 seconds for Addison? He's definitely going to give you 2 seconds for Swift.
Yeah.
So for me, like definitely just take the running back production in a shallow format. You're going to be able to sell that. And I would just sell it. Like I think Swift's fine, but I don't necessarily know if it fits your window, and you can always buy a Swift back.
Yeah, and I do like Addison, but in a 10 team start 8, like if I have 3 seconds, like I can probably find my way into an Addison type pretty easily.
Yeah.
Like people are willing to move those ranges of receivers.
Buy the Pittmans.
Yeah. This might have been my Grant Calcaterra reference. Harrison's got to change his shorts. What's up, Kyle? Came to say hi and show support. Got to study and sleep. Wishing the best. Hey, shout out to you. Appreciate you stopping in. Good luck on your test. Do your best. Get some rest. Cash Kumbada. More of a reloading. What can I say? More of a reloading roster with a good receiving room. BTJ, Rice, Olave, Addison, Devonta Smith, Wandale, Coker. I love the Coker additions. Not because I'm making fun of you for having Coker be a part of like a good receiving room, but because I'm with you. Like, come on, man. Are you with me? Are you a Cokehead? You think we're gonna get some good Coker games at the end of the season?
I'm a Panthers fan, so I mean, I have to be irrationally high on certain players or
on
irrationally
a holy cross second year player off an injury. I
mean, my wife's team that had a rough start, I've been holding on to Coker on IR. I'm like, I need Coker to come in. And save this team. But yeah, I mean, I think to me, I'm excited for Coker. I think he's the perfect type of complement after getting rid of Thielen, after, what's his name? Oh, the Clemson guy, Hunter Renfrow. He's just too short. Yeah, like he's too short and old. Like he's not amazing. but actually having someone in there that can produce, and we've seen Coker have good chemistry. So I'm excited about that. I am worried about his injuries. I mean, that's why he fell in the draft, and the fact that he's been banged up for most his NFL career also doesn't make me feel super confident. But
yeah,
you got to believe when you get into that range.
Yeah, let me know, Cash. This was not a Jalen Coker themed question. He just was a part of the parentheses receiver room. Let me know if you're still in here.
You got me started.
How many
Panthers?
I should have known. I should have known. Let me know how many starters there are for this team, because I think that will influence the way we answer this question. Because he says more of a reloading roster with this good receiving room, and he has Kyren and Scat as the running backs and Purdy Love at quarterback. What moves should I look to make? And I think that's a little dependent on, like, if it's a shallower league, I'd probably be looking to like combine one of these Addison, Smith, even maybe Olave, Wandale for sure, receivers with a running back too. Like if you're like giving up on this year, like I like holding on. I'm fine with holding on to Kyren and Scat, but depending on how deep the league is,
reloading,
I'm fine using the running back production to upgrade.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what. I mean, obviously, like the obvious ones of like, oh, like Amarion Hampton or Nabers, or players that are out for a long time.
And I think like Kyren and Scat, like, I mean, Kyren plus one of these receivers for, I mean, maybe not BTJ or Rice, but like those receivers after that for like Hampton or some of these other injured running backs or Nabers or something. Like, I think that's, you can get to the conversation with a, competing team that has one of those big injuries. The Purdy injury is probably hurt.
The hard part with Hampton is like Hampton was probably like the second overall pick in your draft, so I don't know if he'll be on like a contending roster.
You never know, man. I've seen some funky stuff happen. We get people that have early firsts. We have people that trade up, move assets. The people that buy Genties because they're gonna get that kinetic production that way. But yeah, let us know the starters, and I think that'll influence the follow up. Oof, Brandon. Well, we got the Bill update. Why does Bill all of a sudden have butterfingers? What's up, fellas? What's up, Brandon? Yeah, it was a weird game. He did have that fumble earlier, and I think that like handoff exchange that was on Jane Daniels, he kind of like put it. He kind of like bobbled it and threw it in his chest a little bit. You got to put it in the breadbasket. Come on, every quarterback, running back, high school player knows that. But it was like a gross, wet, rainy game. And the one nice thing, even with the fumble early on, insane usage. Like the receiving stuff is still going to be a lot of Jerry McNichols. Like he's still the trusted pass protector, trusted receiving running back. Like he's still going to be involved, but that's like most running back rooms. So I'm not like too freaked out about it. But what was he? I think he was like 89% of the running back touches, which is huge. I mean, this is what you wanted to see. And I think the Bears defense played a lot better than I expected. I think he still looks good. He just didn't break any runs this game. I'm not too worried about it. Gross game. Julio, thanks for the JSN, Darnold, and Waddle advice the other week. Been working out well since 1-1, but lost by 0.1. Second highest score of the week. Oh, that is brutal. Dang. I don't even remember, but if we talked you into acquiring one of JSN or Waddle, let's go. Good on us. I wish I had more JSN.
Oh, I do too, man. JSN's like a blind spot for me.
Dude, I was not a Sam Darnold believer, man. I think the reclamation quarterback, and it's kind of interesting. I know Scott Connor, shout out to Charles Chill FFB, was talking about this on, I think, one of the Destination Devy shows, where how people are going to approach QB in Superflex, especially with the rookie class upcoming, where it'll be different towards the end of the college football season. And when we have prospects that are looking like first round picks, like there will be at least one or two rookie quarterbacks in the first round. But, with like what we saw from Cam Ward this year, like, are we going to get to a point where people are like, bro, I'm not going to pay the 4th overall pick in this rookie draft for a quarterback that I don't know if he's going to be good. Like, I'll just take a Daniel Jones, a Sam Darnold, a Baker Mayfield, like these reclamation quarterbacks that I know are in decent, good situations. and I'll use that pick on a receiver. So it's interesting. But
yeah, I mean, I think there's been a big shift in quarterback theory from Superflex. Like when I first got onto the scene in Dynasty and playing Dynasty, I was like, okay, if you looked at like WAR, like the top 10 or so quarterbacks were by far and away like the biggest impact to your roster. The stability, the production, it was all elite levels. And now we kind of have more of a crapshoot at that position. It's more like it's just very deep now, and paying up for those guys versus just saying, hey, especially outside of like the elite, Josh Allen, Hurts, Lamar, outside of those guys, it's like, wait, why am I paying up for a Kyler Murray or these other guys when like one of the biggest mistakes I made in one of my first Dynasty leagues is I I paid the price of Kyler Murray injury, and I held on to him while I also acquired Baker and Goff and all these, like right when Goff got traded and right when Baker got cut. Like I kept buying all these guys no one wanted, and I got good value for him. But I never was like, this is the guy I'm going to stick with. I was like, I always got Kyler in my back. So I would always flip those guys. And now I'm sitting there and I'm like, wait, I have Kyler. That was just an expensive version of a guy that's scoring less than Baker Mayfield and a guy that's scoring about the same as Jared Goff fantasy-wise. I mean, Goff doesn't have the rushing upside that Kyler does. And I was like, why did I got like mesmerized by the rushing upside of Kyler, which is kind of non-existent at this point, versus like just taking a different quarterback that might not be the sexy option, but I could have gotten the elite value from Kyler when it did exist.
Yeah.
Now it just kind of doesn't.
Thank you for the sub. I just saw that pop up. Sorry, I got a little quarter of my eye peak, but I wanted to say, like, I think that's one of the biggest traps that dynasty managers fall into is like rankings. And we talk about it all the time with like rankings and tiers of like people like the feeling of like, okay, I don't have like this top, 6'5" quarterbacks of like the Lamars, Jaden Daniels, Josh Allen's, Joe Burrows, but like I've got that next range and it's like Kyler Murray could be right there. And it's like, okay, but if you think about like the production between, and I don't want to use Kyler too much as like an example, because like I still got hope that we could get some good Kyler games, but I think in terms of like what people want to buy, it's like, dude, the time, and like, maybe it's with Drake May right now, and maybe like that's the bet you make, and it's like you have Drake May and you also have Goff and Purdy, and like who's gonna get the most on the market? 100% Drake May. Who do you want to hold the most? 100% Drake May. But you're not gonna get as much for Goff and Purdy, but maybe your team roster breakdown, it makes sense. Like, hey, Drake May's on the block. I'm looking to pivot wide receiver, which is like crazy in Superflex to move a high-end Superflex quarterback for a positional player. But I think those are like the best kind of bets you can make when you're confident in the other quarterbacks enough to give you similar-ish production, and the WAR's not that much of a difference, and you still get like you're able to fill out your roster. Dang.
Yeah.
Metcalf for Dowdle, who wins? I mean, I think it just has to be the 5-year, $180 million whatever receiver, yes. Regardless of, I mean, you were probably going to get a rookie quarterback next year, or we'll see if we get another reclamation. Like who's the quarterback? Not Anthony Richardson, that is working with one of these quarterback gurus. Like who we got? Wentz. Got Carson Wentz. Who's with Mac Jones? Is that the Steelers 2020?
Mac Jones, yeah, Mac Jones is probably next up.
No, I
do think there is a decent argument for, hey, if this guy can kind of float around the NFL for years, like Geno Smith, right? Like it's probably worth, like those guys are probably more valuable if they're constantly floating around, getting decent spot starts here and there, because they're going to gain experience. Like I think that's ultimately like what clicked for like the Darnolds, especially, where it's like Darnold early in his career looked like hopeless. You're like, what's going on with this dude? And now he's kind of figured it out enough to be a high volume, reliable quarterback. And it's like, it's probably just because this dude has, a bunch of years under his belt now and can actually kind of stabilize himself.
What teams did he play for before as well? Can we do that with Baker and Darnold? What was it? The Browns? I'm sorry, the Panthers.
Next
The
question.
Jets.
Next question.
Yeah, the Vikings. Oh, he did pretty good there.
Zach Wilson's next, baby.
Zach Wilson. Yeah, give him a chance. This Miami
Kenny
team.
Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. Well, Kenny Pickett's going to. He was on an interesting trajectory there, going Steelers to Browns there for a second. But I will say the one interesting part of this is depending on the format. Like I moved Metcalf and Kamara in a 12-team start 9, where I have not a lot of picks because I've used them all to like consolidate to build out the best starting roster. And like I would rather start DK over Rashee Shaheed, Jerry Jeudy, but not by that much. So like I am fine in those kind of leagues consolidating for picks. So like if this was like super shallow league, Metcalf for Dowdle, like Metcalf in a third, Metcalf in a fourth, or Dowdle in a second, like F it. Like give me the better pick. Like I'll pivot off of DK for, this Dowdle bet and I get a pick.
Yeah. No, I do think if it is like a super shallow format, I can get the flexibility of the pick and you got a million Metcalf type players. It's certainly
and
good to have a different roster position.
I have probably said this the wrong way sometimes too. So like I'm gonna call myself out on it sometimes as well. But like sometimes in these shallow leagues, we talk about like second round picks not mattering. Like they don't matter in the sense of I will use them consolidate up. But when you can like get flexibility going the other way, they do matter to me in a sense where it's like I'm able to like, bro, what if next season I get the Cam Skattebo in the second round? I get the insert. Like I get the Quinshon Judkins that fell to the 201 because of legal trouble. I get the Jackson Dart because the Giants are going to suck and Russell Wilson's the starter for the full season. Like those things can matter in shallow leagues.
I do think that is one. I think that the counter strategy that will come up is people are going to
like card game
quarterbacks more. Well, I mean, we see it outside of the top guys. And we did during draft season, right? With like Cam Ward. It's like, well, it's no number 1 overall guy. You just got to take him because there's a level of investment.
Yeah. I said that. He was my 105. Yeah. Like it's super flex. You got to take the quarterback.
But then we had the Giants trade up and take Jackson Dart. And I'm not saying Dart's going to be an amazing guy or player, but
he's going to be an amazing guy. I don't know.
He's going to be an amazing guy. I don't know. I saw that one TikTok.
I don't know about player.
Showing off that cologne. Maybe. Yeah. But I all I'm saying is a lot of my teams now, I'm rolling out Penix, I'm rolling out Dart, I'm rolling out these guys that had first round draft capital, and people are just like, I don't really feel great about it. And it falls to the 201 and 202, and I'm like, well, I'll just take it because it's like, what am I?
At that
point, take a Matthew Golden or Jackson Dart. It's like I'm going to take a Jackson Dart type over like Trey Harris. Like I feel better about the Jackson Dart pick. So I do think there's going to be kind of like that counter wave of everyone fading, not like outside the top 5 pick quarterbacks is you're going to be starting to get some of this value in the early second, late first.
Yeah.
And actually get shots at that.
And this year, I mean, it's a totally different conversation. And there are questions in here. Like I'm going to click on the question right after I say this last thing. Cause I could yap about like deep strategy on this stuff. But man, think about the quarterback market right now. Like, dude, you need to start. You can get Mac Jones. You need to start. You can get Carson Wentz. Like there are just so many starters every single season in Superflex. I mean, you can get Cooper Rush. I mean, it doesn't always work out, but I think you have at least a better feel.
I started Cooper Rush last week. -0.3.
Dude, the brutal part is after the game, hearing that the plan was to give Huntley a portion of the game. And it was like, oh, I wish I would have known that before starting quarterback in my Superflex.
I had both of them. I was like, I would have started Huntley, man.
Oh yeah. But that's the other interesting part of it is like, and it's partially why I talk about not wanting to, like, we get these rosters people will submit and send questions about, and it's like, yep, 3 QBs. I've got Drake May, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, and Caleb Williams, and they send the rest of the roster. Any moves to make? It's like, yeah, dude, why do you have 4 quarterbacks that like have value? Trade Caleb Williams, whichever one can get you the highest return right now. Like you do not need to have 4. And in my opinion, you don't even need to have 3 if you fill out your roster in these deep leagues with the Carson Wentz's, the Mac Jones, the Malik Willis's of the world. All right.
Yeah, no, exactly.
We are clicking on real life questions. right now. Kyle here, 10 team start 9, Superflex, no tight end premium, 8th place and don't know why. I am with you, brother. Don't worry. We're all in the same boat in some of our leagues. What can I do? Allen, JJ McCarthy, Rattler, Breece, Skattebo. Chase Brown is probably another reason. Just jamming in that 9-10 PPR points, but I'm with you, brother. It's been brutal. Nico, Tet, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Marv, QJ. This is a good team. I feel like I should be able to win, but I'm just not. The issue, I think, is it is a 10-team start 9. So we're talking real shallow. JJ McCarthy, like I assume at the beginning of the season, you're probably starting him instead of Rattler, and maybe you've been riding Allen or Rattler right now. Running backs, you've probably been jamming in Chase Brown, and then the Skattebo takeover happened, and then you're playing Skattebo, Breece Hall, but Breece has been disappointing this last week. The wide receivers,
I think the wide receivers probably has been a start-sit nightmare.
Yeah, QJ.
Because there's no way in hell you started QJ right in the beginning.
Yeah.
You probably rolled
out.
And
then who are you benching Rico, QJ for
Garrett
week 2?
Wilson, Marv. Yeah. And then you're like, crap. Okay, well, I'll bench Tet, and then Tet goes off. And then I'll bench, like, there's not you have too much value in the wide receiver position, and it's just going to make you either need to consolidate and tier up, or just liquidate, or maybe say, hey, could I trade Marv and just get a locked-in running back I feel better about? Like, trade him cross-positionally. Just make your start-sit decisions easier, because you might pick the right QJ week and the right Olave week, or you might pick the wrong one. And then all of a sudden, you do have QJ, who's been, top 10 wide receiver so far. But when you pick the wrong week, he's like, wide receiver 30. And then you pick the wrong week of Olave, and he's wide receiver 28. And it's like, wait a minute, you do have 2 top 10 guys, or not top 10 in Olave, but you have 2 top performing guys, and the value you got from them is wide receiver 30 production, just because you picked the wrong weeks. And I don't want to be stuck there. Like, so I like not having to make too many decisions, maybe one, like Olave and QJ. Who do I start? Okay. But I don't want to be stuck sitting here picking between 7 decent options that I feel good about.
Yeah. And it's going to be hard, because you might have to move one of these guys who is your favorite. But, and this is, I want you to take this too retroactively, because it's going to sound like it's a retroactive advice thing. But this is why in these super shallow leagues, we talk about moving these higher valued players that you don't even need. You do not need crazy depth in these 10 team start 8s for first round picks, because not every team wants Marvin Olave consolidated 2 wide receivers for a stud, but Marv plus a first. Okay. That's pretty juicy. I just had that conversation in one of the last questions, but yeah, the tough thing about turning this around, you probably either have to F it, I am done. The running backs are tough, because I want to say F it. If you in a 10 team start 9, no tight end premium, if you are competing, you feel like your team's good enough, you're close enough, maybe you're 1 game behind, you're high in points for, you just want to compete, you're F it. Whichever is the worst team that has a Josh Jacobs type, that's the running back I'm rolling with for the rest of the season. But I don't know. I don't hate starting Breece, Skattebo. I don't feel great about Chase Brown, but you probably don't have to start him other than by weeks.
I think too, you probably were starting McCarthy earlier in the year. Not that Rattler's amazing production. I mean, he's been all right, but I imagine your QB2 has also been kind of a point of pain when it comes to this type of roster. So, I mean, I look here, I do think finding some more consistent running back production is probably what I try to do.
I'd move,
even if it is just a Mike Evans for a Swift type of deal.
Yeah, JJ McCarthy is probably a tough move right now, coming off the injury. I would see if there's a way to go to a bottom team and see if you can move him and a team's favorite receiver for whatever the best QB2 is. You probably would have to do JJ. I mean, would you do in this kind of format, 10 team start 8, 10 team start 9 with how 90 starters? How in these start 9s, how big the QB is such a huge part of your production, no tight end premium as well, and taking a bath with JJ Rattler. I do kind of want to make the JJ bet on some of these teams where he's my QB2, but in a super shallow league, would you tack Marv and JJ to like a tanking team or whatever team has Lamar that's been disappointing and see like what you have to add on to get Lamar? Like JJ, Marv, and a first. Would you do that for Lamar? It's kind of hard on like an 8th place team to like make that bet.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, that pick is going to be a
10 team as well. So firsts are like a little sketchier to move.
It's going to be a juicy pick.
It's probably the price you do have to pay in this kind of format. So like maybe if you can find a more creative way to do that, I'd be willing to. Like maybe you get another piece back too. Like if they have a running back that's producing really well and you want to do the competing bet. But that would probably be the move you'd have to make to do that. Okay. We're going lightning mode because I haven't even hit this Becca high that happened at 9:45. Actually I'll hit it right now. Hi Becca. Hi Don.
Shoutouts.
Oh, we do need the work league update real quick. Started the week with a 70% chance of winning and I managed to lose.
It's a tough week. Igbuka.
Oh,
Harrison
dude.
Jr. Josh Allen.
Man, I was victory lapping around my house with my like 90% Igbuka I've had in all my redraft leagues. Like I was always taking him around and a half, 2 rounds ahead. Oh, that was brutal. Like definitely the reason I lost too. Like the 3 points you get in like no Godwin, no Mike Evans. We got freaking all the Johnsons for the Cameron Johnson, Tez Johnson, all the Johnsons scored touchdowns. Oh, it was brutal. I'm with you, Becca. We stand together. Don't let the don't let the coworkers win. You got this. All right, Burrito Master. Oh wait, sorry, I skipped this one. Sometimes I click it. I forget that I clicked it. My channel.
Excited,
Mahomes. Then a wide receiver is McLaurin. I assume AJ Brown with the order. T Higgins, CD Lamb. Running backs are Harvey, Jacobs, garbage. Tight ends are Kittle, Ertz. No real depth at wide receiver. Do I trade McLaurin for Bill? What do I do now? It's a start 8. 3 wide receiver, 2 running back, 1 flex, QB, tight end. With this running back room and that wide receiver room, I'd be fine to trade Terry. You only have to start 3 wide receivers. Like you get to start 4 wide receivers and only have to start 2 running backs, but I do not want to be starting RJ Harvey right now. So I think and that's kind of a good Bill buy-ish low for Terry, and you can just roll Higgins, Lamb, AJ Brown.
I think too you get to play the dynasty game with it because like JCM's probably still going to be a valuable player next year in terms of dynasty, in terms of value. People are going to be interested in him. Like he's going to be kind of considered. Like I feel like he's kind of a Chase Brown type player in terms of not as hyped because obviously the offense isn't as concentrated, but he is a young player, late round pick. But he's going to be still, year 2 versus like McLaurin, who would be 30 something and not be seen as like a dynasty player, more of just like, what can you do for me type. So for me, I think this is a decent strategy. Let me get better production at a position I need while Harvey kind of marinates and starts to load up.
And let me know.
Feel, your 4 and 5 at wide receiver are probably going to be fine versus Harvey as a RB2. Is definitely a downgrade.
And let me know what. I know you say no real depth on wide receiver, but I feel like sometimes people say that in these shallow leagues, and it's like, Rashee Shaheed on the bench, Wan'Dale on the bench, and it's like, that doesn't feel like depth, but like, I mean, Wan'Dale, Pittman, Rashee Shaheed versus Terry McLaurin, like, bro, give me a running back, and I'll just plug in those guys, like, if I need to.
I talked a lot of trash about Wan'Dale, but he's honestly been a good depth piece.
Yeah, I think the Eagles secondary was pretty injured. I'm not expecting 20-point bombs from Wan'Dale consistently. We got little Jordan Humphrey, Mawson, no Darius Slayton as well. But I mean, if he can find his way into 4 or 5 receptions a game. Yeah. What's up, Darren? Did you guys see the sack on Williams last night that Armstrong got? That sack had me winning my matchup, but then they corrected and gave my guy half a sack. They gave half to Von Miller, who literally touched the foot of Williams, and he's on the way. Oh, dude, I do not play in IDP leagues. I could not deal with the heartbreak of half sacks being like matchup deciders. That sounds miserable.
I will say, Darren, I was in nearly the exact same situation. I lost a matchup by 6 points, and I did start Armstrong as well.
Dang.
So but I think I lost only 3.5 points, so I wouldn't have won. It would just been closer. I was worried. That was the league I started Cooper Rush, and I was worried I'd lose by 0.2 points or whatever. And I'd be like, if I just didn't even start a quarterback, I would have been better. But yeah,
it's tough. No, it's
I say Phil George asked us if we talked about Rico and Chuba. We did that right in the beginning. So if you want our full breakdown of the Rico and Chuba stuff, I recommend checking that out. And I'll be putting timestamps on the video once the transcripts hits.
Let's go. Nice. Happy to hear you say that. Everyone heard Jeremy say that, so I don't have to do it. Nice. Let's go. Cadrano says the crapshoot lend itself to, dare I say, lack of QB talent in the league currently.
I think my take is that not to sound like an old head, because I obviously have never played quarterback outside of NCAA 14.
Well, you want me to take over? Freshman year quarterback, I had more rushing touchdowns, and actually more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns, and more fumbles than passing touchdowns. I was a running back. I'm even worse than Malik Willis. I'm gonna blame it on the offensive line. But sorry, go ahead with your analysis.
No, I remember listening to an interview with Brady, and it sounded very much like old kids get off my lawn type of a thing. But he was talking about how kids in college now with NIL don't develop as much, and it's more of just like, can you fit in our system? And then you kind of just churn these guys out at a higher rate. And I think that's kind of what we see with a lot of these guys now, is that it is very much NIL focused, and which I think is a good thing. I mean, I think if you're putting your body on the line, you should get paid. But I do think it's kind of in this weird state right now where a lot of the development of these quarterbacks hasn't really caught up to the new way college football kind of handles the development of these quarterbacks. And that's why you see a lot of times, these quarterbacks come in not fully developed. And frankly, I feel like it's hard because you can't really do it in most situations. But I feel like if you draft a quarterback super high, they just shouldn't play for like the first year, at least. Like you should just like Panthers draft Bryce Young, even though Bryce Young was probably considered a highly developed player for what he was. I still feel like you just sit him for a whole year.
Mahomes,
naturally the
Jordan
fan base,
the
pressure. Yeah, like I don't think you can do that, but I think
unless
really
it's like a late first, if you're talking top 10, and that's a tough thing.
Cam Ward on and roll with like Will Levis, and I don't even know who's the backup there.
Yeah, I shout out to all the Mason Rudolph I dropped at the end of last season, hoping he would find his way into 5 games at the start of the season for me. No, it's I think it'll be a really interesting conversation too with this upcoming class. Like, there's some prospects I like. Like, I know everyone's been hyping up Mendoza. I'm probably higher on Nussmeier than a lot of people. I know he's been disappointing compared to
Mendoza. I'll shout out the I think it's called not Fantasy. It's a NFL Stock Exchange, like the PFF show.
Oh yeah, love the show.
I always like they do like weekly college breakdowns and do like quarterback rankings and all of that.
And shout out to Ray. I don't know if you've been watching those. I appreciate those kind of.
Yeah, Ray does a great job as well.
Recap on the Destination Debbie channel.
I think this draft class might not be as bad as people are saying. That's my take. I think there's a lot of exciting talent, especially at the top end.
I think we do this every year too, where there's not like, when there isn't like a guy, like it's been this guy for the past couple seasons, I think people tend to like write off the class. But even with like the mock drafts we're getting at this point in the season, I mean, just look at any mock draft in October versus when we actually have the NFL draft. Like there will be 9 to 12 first round quarterback through positional players that we'll get to draft, even if
we will be here to do mock drafts all off season.
Guys, I want people to do this. I want somebody in the Discord to be like, you guys should do this thing. Like, it'd be cool if you did this kind of thing for like whatever, the off season, the NFL draft or whatever. Because all me and Jeremy do is just message each other. Hey, what should we do for this? We need the input, or else it's just going to be us putting our heads together. And you guys don't want that. Just kidding. All right. Sam here.
Did you hit Burrito Master?
Oh no, I double.
You called him out. And then,
I hit Burrito Master, and then I went back to the other one. Good call, Burrito Master. I apologize. Reloading, but I'm 7th in a 12-team league, 6th in points for. Top 7 make the playoffs. Draft as a lottery that slightly favors 8th and 9th best teams.
So I guess it's like lottery, but trying to not have teams fully tank. So if you barely miss the playoffs, you have a better chance of getting the 101.
Can we just? What is wrong with max points for? Can somebody help me? Is it so that like I guess I kind of get that you still do the full on tanking thing like I'm doing in the Bravo Daddy League where I'm just like, sorry guys, like I'm gonna be the max points for a guy and I just trade all my running backs and I'm starting Jordan Addison at QB2.
I need to do that in the Alpha Daddy League. I need to.
I know I clicked on your roster and I was like, oof, I don't really want to trade for any of these guys, but I might come back to you.
I don't need that.
I didn't.
Josh Jacobs.
Okay, I do want Josh Jacobs. I'll message you. Actually, yeah. Look at my roster. That's your homework for tonight. A second for Henry. Should I do it? That's a tough spot, man. 7th, second for Henry. 12 team. I mean, you could probably get more for Henry after this last game, right? It's the Ravens bye week, but you're getting Lamar coming back. We don't have more hope for Henry than a second. You can't get a second interesting player.
I mean, I will forever. I think isn't it like he would be about buying Henry since the guy only wants a second for Henry.
Yeah, you're a better reader than me.
And he's like, hey, I'm kind of in the middle. I think given the way your draft lottery works, as well as your playoffs, which has 7 teams, which is interesting. Yeah, I mean, give me Henry. A second is easy.
Especially if that's like really impacting your roster. Like if you have been like getting absolutely destroyed at RB2, which is like a spot I have been fine, kind of like rolling the dice on. I see Cody down here. I'm sure he's in the same boat as a lot of his teams, but. Yeah, without knowing more about the format and your current roster, I'm fine buying Henry for a second.
Yeah, I mean Henry's had 3 weeks under 10 points in the past 18 weeks, so I'm not too concerned. And I will say the first dynasty trade I ever made was trading away Henry in a 1 QB league back in 2018 because I thought he was old, and after that I was like, you know what? I'm just never gonna doubt the dude. I mean. He can get 3 points on my roster till the day I die. I'm fine having Henry on my team.
Interesting one here. What is up, Jake? We got the I don't want to call him the resident Panthers fan because I know I got the resident Panthers fan next to me. The resident Panthers fans here. Do the Panthers consider trading Chuba? I don't imagine, especially after like the extension. It's like really hard. You almost never see it like running backs on newly acquired contracts being traded.
Yeah, I think it's only a 3-year deal.
And I think they want to use, like, they were still using Rico at the start of the season, even when it was, like, Chuba's backfield. Like, he was still getting, 20, 30% of the work.
Let me, I'll dust off my age and say, hey, I mean, what Panthers, Jonathan Stewart, D'Angelo Williams. I mean, come on, double trouble.
D'Angelo
We have
Williams.
a history of two
Shout out
high-quality running backs.
Shout out to D'Angelo Williams, nicknamed by my brother. Shout out Ferd. Dirty Jukes is what we referred to D'Angelo Williams. Basically because he was pretty sick in Madden. I think he had a pretty high juke rate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to trade him. I do see Cody say that no team would take on the contract. I don't know how bad the contract is. I don't remember it being
It's
terrible,
just teams just don't take on running back contracts unless it's like weird last year situations. The other team's eating a bunch of money, and it's like a weird veteran thing.
It is through 2029, fully guaranteed $16 million.
Yeah, that's never happening.
Yeah, so that's a bigger deal than I thought it was.
Teams don't even do that kind of stuff if it's like a bad situation. And like this is, I do think they want to use both. Like I do think it's going to be more Rico. I think the interesting thing will be
the Jonathan Brooks.
No, I didn't think about that for a second.
No, I mean, like, Jonathan Brooks comes back next year, and they have Dowdle. Like, do they say, let's re-sign Dowdle?
That's what I was going to say is, like, the Dowdle thing. It's kind of tough at his age, too. Like, you're not going to get anything close to, like, a 3-year deal. But he's going to get, I'm sure, some kind of team-friendly type. Like, we'll give you a 2-year cheap or, extend you for a year.
You'll get like $5 million, 5-year with some incentive.
I mean, how many more 180-yard rushing games is he going to give you? Is he going to take $5 million?
I mean, if he does this like 3 more times, like, I mean, see ya, Chuba. Like, how many? You're the most expensive backup.
When's the next time they play the Cowboys or the Dolphins?
He plays the Jets next week, so
yeah,
we got one more Dowdle breaking in fantasy football.
Well, we'll see. He's probably not going to get the yardage if the Garrett Wilson list Justin Fields can't move the ball past their own 40-yard line. Man, we haven't even talked about Fields. Somebody asked a Fields question. Please don't. I do not want to talk about Justin Fields. I have one Justin Fields share.
Somebody ask a Fields question.
I have one Justin Fields share, and I have Lamar Jackson on bye, and can't trade him. We're just this is gonna be my Justin Fields bet team. Figure it out, kid. Aaron Glenn believes in you. I'm choosing to as well. Devonta Smith for a second. How lopsided? I mean, all these are pretty format dependent. Like, would you see yourself buying Devonta Smith for a second in like a deep enough league where you are gonna find yourself slotting him in? My thing with like Devonta Smith,
is that his price? Is he that low?
I mean, are you getting more? You're not getting a first for Devonta Smith right now. I think I would buy
2 seconds.
I would buy Devonta Smith for a second, but I think the price I would expect if I was trying to buy Devonta Smith would be somebody wanting a second and like an interesting player.
Okay, well, it's all over the place. There's one that's Devonta Smith for a first and a second. I was like, okay, that's a little steep.
Yeah.
And then there's one Devonta Smith for Tank Dell in the third, and I'm like, that is free. I mean, second and Juwan Jennings for Devonta Smith. Kind of that's kind of the pitch you're giving. Is he really a second? I might have to buy some Devonta Smith.
I would be down to. The thing with like Devonta Smith, and I mean, you can't really do it as much. And like Rashee Shaheed is like the perfect example of like, yeah, I could buy Devonta Smith or I could buy Rashee Shaheed. Like, yeah, I could buy Devonta Smith or I could buy, please come back, Darnell Mooney, because that's the bet I've been making instead of paying up for Devonta Smith types. So, but for the price of a second in like a 12 by 11 is like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
That's crazy.
Cortland Sutton or Devonta Smith. If you prefer Sutton, what pick added to Smith makes you accept? Oh, I don't want to add, even though I like Sutton. I think this Broncos offense is not going to look as bad as it did in this London Jets game. But are you adding on to Devonta Smith to get
like
Sutton?
Breaking my brain, man. I didn't realize everyone was so low on Devonta Smith. I didn't realize.
Bro, people are low on AJ Brown. What do you think they think about Skinny Batman?
Well, I mean, I just figured,
which is kind of funny because the production has been similar.
Age situation.
Yeah, that's it too. I think Devonta Smith is talented enough. The thing I think people are, the dynasty part of Devonta Smith is the Jalen Hurts contract extension. People are like, this is it. This is what I signed up for the next 5 seasons. More of this.
God damn, I'm gonna have like 100 shares of freaking Devonta Smith.
I'm gonna send out some Devonta Smith offers.
Second,
because
if it's a second,
like this is the worst case scenario. I think what we've seen from the Eagles offense at most points of this season, and it's still super consolidated. Like, yes, Jahan Dotson gets in there every once in a while. Yes, Dallas Goedert gets more targets, but it's not like they're, we've got like 5-6 options that are getting, like, it is pretty consolidated. It's just annoying. And I think it'll improve.
This is breaking my brain a little bit.
All right. This is, I believe this is the auto accept trade block update, Cody, I believe. Derrick Henry for a first, Dobbins for 2 seconds, Jordan Mason for a second, Devontae for a first, Jacoby for a second, Kelsey Tiner Premium a first, Ingram for a second, Kamara for a first, Barner for 2/3. Okay, I like most of these. I don't know if I could see most of these happening reasonably. I feel like people are pretty down on Kamara. Would you take 2 seconds for Kamara?
Yeah, I mean, I probably take 1 second, to be honest, unless if I'm like I don't think I look at his production. I would not send a first for it. I mean, unless if you have like a souped up, PPR type league. But even that, like Kendre Miller's kind of sneaking into it.
Yeah. Taysom Hill's back. We had a Taysom Hill touchdown.
He gets 1 carry a game. Like it's not like Kamara's scoring touchdowns right now. So yeah, I mean, I would take 2 seconds. I would take 1 second. I think that's
most of these.
I would take Devonta Smith.
Okay. I kind of like that one. I mean,
that's how low I'm going. I'm going all the way down to Devonta Smith.
And Kamara, I think he is kind of like dispelled the like, oh, is he going to be a Kansas City Chief? Oh, is he going to be a Chicago Bear? Like it sounds like he is going to stay a Saint. And yeah, I think all the fun aspects of the Saints offense with the pace stuff and, you know, the offense being better, at least than people were expecting, it's being nullified by the Kendre Miller involvement and Taysom Hill returning to the fold, even though the usage was a little bit better this last week than the past couple of weeks. But Kendre Miller doesn't look terrible. And he doesn't have a head coach that hates him.
I do need my Kamara bags to get back up to that first price point. So I'm here for Kamara doing it. I just don't think every time I sent out Kamara for a second, I get denied. So I doubt you're getting a first. Yeah, I'll give shout outs to Ingram. Ingram is starting to look solid. High PP or tight end premium. Certainly could improve, but
got that Nate Atkins touchdown. We're gonna get some Adam Troutman, but yeah, from like a PPR floor perspective, him being involved definitely not better than.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a cheap tight end premium tight end option that will be serviceable.
Flex 2 PPR and 0.5 tight end premium. Skattebo against Denver, JCM against Dallas, ETN against the Rams, or Ertz against Dallas. Even though Ertz had a monster game, I think it sounds like Terry's going to be back. So I'm probably fine, even in a 0.5 tight end premium, benching Ertz for one of these three options. It's kind of tough.
Oh, I think it's kind of easy.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
What team just played a running back?
I'm playing Bill. Okay.
Like a bazillion points. Like, come on.
So you're Dallas? So you're benching, I guess, the Rams defense.
Rams defense, Denver defense.
And we do get the London game.
Yeah, like give me JCM against like the worst run defense since last year's Carolina.
So who's your defense. 2? Who's your second?
My second is, I think I'm going Skattebo. ETN has kind of cooled down a tiny bit.
Yeah, I still think the usage is really nice. The usage is still nice. But yeah, even though I'm a little skeptical. Why did that? You ever write a word down and it like doesn't sound right? Or doesn't look right?
Well, yes, but
skeptical.
You didn't write it down.
I wrote it down in my mind. You guys write down words in your mind when you talk?
You said it and it sounded weird.
I'm a little skeptical. Right. I think we move on. No, I'm probably going. JCM Scat. It's just, bro. How do you bench that man right now? It is a tough matchup though. Scat. Like I do think the Eagles' defense was very beat up. I like Dart. I like Skattebo. Would not surprise me if Dart looks a little bit more Justin Fields-y than Jaden Daniels-y in this Denver game. That's all I'm gonna say.
You're coming. You got New York mad at you now.
Oh damn! I love Dart too. I like the nerd stuff, man. When like these NFL players will talk about like their Star Wars fandom stuff, like that gets me going. Speaking of QBs, I got May, Penix, and Dart. Who do I try and dish for something decent? LOL. 2 and 4 considered a fraud. Still a fringe rebuilder. That's kind of tough, man. These 3 quarterbacks on like a 2 and 4, like if you're leaning towards rebuilding. I mean, May's going to give you the most.
Okay.
Bang.
Like, the question is the May conversation.
Has he passed Jalen Hurts? I know he was right up against him the last time I checked. Yeah. You got the Dynasty Daddy trade values up.
I do. He is QB8 on Dynasty Daddy, and he is QB5 on KeepTradeCut. Now, obviously, KeepTradeCut is more reactionary, but he hasn't passed Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is QB4 on both Dynasty Daddy and KeepTradeCut. It's
funny. All these like, oh, Jalen Hurts sucks so much, and you're just like, yeah, it's just a cool lock it in 23 fantasy points per game, even in the games where everyone's quoting clips of him being terrible without push touchdowns.
Averaging 25 fantasy points a week. His lowest was 14.
This is tough. So like it'd be a lot easier if one of these was like so would you move May on a 2 and 4 leaning into a rebuilder team? Like I think you would probably need to know more context about the rest of the team if like needed to get the kind of the breaking down the asset. Like you're just like terrible across the board. You need to turn them into picks.
Do I have picks? Do I have like high end wide receiver? Like if it's literally like May and Wayndale Robinson is my wide receiver 1, then yeah, I got to split that elite asset and and like that's a hard conversation you have to have. Right? I mean that's what I did with that one Christian McCaffrey trade. Is I'm sitting here, I'm like, a lot of these players on my team no one wants. I can't sell a Kamara. I can't sell a James Conner, but I can sell a Christian McCaffrey and get elite value. And this is a team I kind of pushed in on a little. And I was like, I just need to get that value because otherwise I'm screwed if anything happens. And this team is screwed if anything happens to Drake May that hurts his value, whether it's just him playing poorly. Because I mean, 3 weeks ago, everyone's like, I don't know, man, Drake May doesn't look that good. And all of a sudden, Drake May's Josh Allen, it's locked in. So like, to me, I do think like this is the hard conversation of like both Penix and Dart have a pretty decent leash, I think. And it's kind of like that quarterback situation that we talked about. The process move is probably to sell a Drake May and try to get that value and be able to disperse it across your league. The only time I would say no to that would be either Drake May becomes Josh Allen, and that's how you'd lose this deal. And then that sucks because he becomes, the next Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Lamar. That's very hard to do. Even a Herbert or someone like that is probably worth trading if you get that elite value. We see that Herbert, Burrow, those guys are worth trading if you get that elite value. And then, second is like, we don't know the rest of the value, like we mentioned, but being able to, sell high, get that elite value on a fringe rebuilder, it diversifies your risk a lot. And a lot of Dynasty is that. Like we didn't think JSN was going to be wide receiver 1 potentially this year. It's looking like he has a decent chance to be. Yeah. We didn't think that. Coming into the offseason, we'd be like, well, JSN's an all right wide receiver 1. Maybe you tear up from JSN to someone else. Like, I would just want to take as many JSN type bets as I can. And if I can hit on half of them, I win my league. Yeah. I don't want to like overpay for guys. Like I want as many Drake May type bets on my team, but I don't want to have to pay the Drake May price when everyone believes in it.
Yeah. And I like this Cody here. Do May and a first for the Goff to Baker range. So for a first, you're getting a first and Goff, or a first and Baker for Drake May. Mm-hmm. And like those kind of moves, like people see that, and sometimes I think people think in their minds, it's like, I'm rebuilding. Like, why am I getting the older quarterback? That doesn't make sense. And it's like, man, I think people think too granular in terms of like, all right, 5 seasons from now, these two quarterbacks, Drake May's still going to be young, and Goff might not even be the Lions quarterback. And it's like, I'll tell you what, man, Goff, the way like the Lions team is playing,
Baker's locked in, man.
Baker is locked. I mean, the MVP Baker, like these quarterbacks too. And even outside of the realm of like 5 seasons from now, where everything is at in terms of where these players are at, so much can happen. So many trades, movements. You move this quarterback for another quarterback, and banking that first round pick, because you know what Drake May was before he was QB6 or QB5 on KeepTradeCut? He's a first round pick, in a rookie draft. He was, the 103, 104 for a lot of people. So getting first on these Baker rebuilding teams
is
the GOAT. Sorry, go ahead.
QB12 on Dynasty Daddy.
Let's go.
QB11 on KeepTradeCut. And he is still the most undervalued quarterback in fantasy football for the 3 years in a row. I mean, the dude has been
just can't teach dog
in WAR every single year. And everyone's like, well, he's a passing quarterback. It doesn't matter. He runs more than Kyler. Like, you just got to accept that Baker Mayfield is in that.
He does what needs to get done.
He's in the Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert dynasty tier. He is in the Drake May tier.
Man, shout out to Alex. I think I got Baker for a second in my home dynasty league. The season that it was like, I think it was his first Tampa season, where it was the Bucks were going to pick in like the 20s range, and he hadn't re-signed yet. And it was like, he was good. And I was like, nah, bro, Baker is, you can sense the dog. His aura is palpable.
I got a better deal than that. I sent Jimmy G when he was starting on the 49ers in a third for Baker in a second.
Dang, and a second. Let's go.
And then Jimmy got benched like the next week, and Baker went on a tear.
Dude,
that
the
was when it was
Baker.
like Baker has to fight against Trask for the starting job and all that crap.
Dude, you remember that Baker Rams game where he started for the Rams and he was with the team for like 3 days and beat the Raiders on like a 98-yard drive? I mean, everyone needs to rewatch that. Go rewatch that. I'm sure there was some sort of like documentary breakdown of that. The Bucks were legit saying Trask might be the starter. Yeah, that's what a time to be alive.
That's what I was saying. You spin those narratives because I'm like, I know Trask and I know it's not better than Baker. So,
oh, that's funny. All right, lightning mode.
TCU wide receivers and
Pets needs to be fired.
Those are
true.
Those are what you got to be scared with.
No decision strategy this year. Bye weeks and I regret everything. Yeah, bye weeks, injuries, like depth doesn't matter, but I do think there is some merit. Like we talk about, you only want to buy depth when you need it, right? Like you don't want to be sending out your, second, third swaps for these like old receivers, these Darnell Moonies when you don't need it. But I'll tell you what, man, it's hard out there to be sending second round picks for Jerry Jeudy's to fill out your flex spots. Doesn't feel good. Don't be doing that.
I just eat the zero. No, I do think something that's underrated in Dynasty is talking about, like, obviously we sit there and talk first round picks, value, plug it into Dynasty Daddy, trade calculators, all that stuff. But you also need to have the runway of a contending team, right? Like, I think people say, well, I want to look at my starting lineup and I want to be able to plug in, like, be very lean and have no decisions. But that only works if you have a bunch of thirds and seconds that you can throw around when you do need to buy those players. If you don't, then you're screwed. And it's stressful. And you're starting, Jeremy Nichols and all these crazy players, Grant Calcaterras. You're starting random players like that because you have to. And the reality is, if that's the situation of either your league's inactive and you can't buy those players and that strategy doesn't work, or you traded all your thirds and seconds and fourths and whatever, and you don't have the flexibility to actually buy any of the spot start guys, then you kind of have to go a different direction. You got to say, well, maybe I start selling those guys and rebuilding that capital. So then maybe next year or a year down the road, when my team is starting to gear up, I can kind of buy and play that way. So it's something where it's like, it doesn't always work because you really do need to have thirds and seconds to be able to play that way.
What is nice though, and I'm sure Cody, like, knowing what I know about Cody, I'm sure has gotten to reap the benefits of, whether it be the waiver wire pickups or the way that he's constructed his roster in terms of like the running back handcuffs, to take advantage of the, hell yeah, I'm playing Michael Carter. Let's go. Slot him in, RB2. Like, come on, Vidal. Let's go. Get in there, buddy. Like, week one, Hassan Hassan's going to be the workload guy. Vidal's going to get there in some capacity. Let's go. Oof. Do I trade away Nico? I mean, I'm always going to ask for context on these. I'm going to say no, bro. Why are we trading away Julio Jones Jr.? Just because the Texans O-line sucks.
I mean, he's averaging what? 13 points per game. I'm okay.
He's averaging 40.
Yeah.
Nico's tough too, because what are you even getting for Nico? Like, I think you're going to have to add too much to get up to like the tier above in terms of like JSN, what Drake London just did this last game. So like, I'm fine just making the
Taylor.
Yeah, I'm fine just making the Nico is elite enough to like give me the floor of like the elite production. And like, sure, I might not be getting the 30 bomb games that I know that he can deliver with his current build of the Texans offense, but I trust the talent, so I'm not going to pay a first on top of Nico for JSN.
I think too, it goes back to the point I made of like Dynasty is not a game of conviction, meaning I have a guy, Nico, he has a range of outcomes of JSN this year. He might be Dynasty wide receiver 10 during the offseason, but he could totally hit and be a top 10 wide receiver, or be the wide receiver 3. And that's kind of what I want. Like, it might not be his year to be that elite guy, but I don't want to pay a plus on top of Nico to pay for another guy that has the exact same type of range of outcomes. Like, if I am trading a Nico Collins, it's going to be, can I get a haul for, someone's trading me 2 first-round picks or someone's trading me something stupid, then sure. But I'm not going to take Nico Collins, tack a first on him, and be like, let me go get Puka, because that's going to, vastly change the outcomes.
Yep. 10 decisions of Jerry McNichols shit for one spot. Oh man, I was gonna say I got some Jerry McNichols, but mostly it's in best ball, so I'm not gonna say I empathize. Condranos, going back to one of my old questions, does 0.5 first downs and 0.5 PPR move the needle on wide receivers versus running backs values in Dynasty for you? Wide receivers generally being more valuable normally. Yeah, I think we talked about it. This was the Skattebo in a first Rice question, where I do think, especially the short yardage running backs, where, third and 1, 3rd and 2, like we feel confident that, Scat is going to get a lot of that stuff. And wide receivers get first downs as well, but yeah, I think that does kind of move the needle, but I think you have to
also the half PPR.
Right. I think that's the other big part of it.
The half PPR also impacts it.
IDP. I need to get a one IDP league. I had
rough, man.
I had one IDP league, and I just don't. I'm just not gonna pretend like I know defensive stuff enough outside of like overall expectations for defenses for the season. Like I'm just not at the. I just thought about all the time I devote to like prospect stuff, and yeah, we don't need to yap more about it. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm sure I'll get 3 more IDP questions and I'll convince myself to get into one.
If there's an IDP like guru, like a diehard IDP person listening, I need to understand the scoring formats. I've never played in one that A, makes IDP players feel valuable. Mm-hmm. As like trade pieces, and B doesn't have it has like an equal distribution of scoring, right? Like either it's like, oh, you
linebackers,
in order for IDP to feel valuable, you have to start like 11 IDP players. And it's like, well, if I'm starting 11 IDP players and I'm only starting 9 or 10 like wide receivers and running back, like it's like, wait a minute, like
my corner doesn't get thrown to.
Linebackers become so valuable. Yeah. Like, why do I care about Josh Allen when I have 5 linebackers that score 20 points apiece?
Yeah.
Like, I can't figure out the scoring to where I feel like it's perfectly balanced. Like, I want to be able to have, like, a Zach Bond have value, but I also don't want it to be like Zach Bond is scoring the same as Josh Allen, because that doesn't make sense. Like, the rarity of a Josh Allen performance versus the rarity of a linebacker getting 10 tackles. Like, come on. Like, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
So I haven't figured out the scoring.
All right, in a rebuild, do I move
That's
Rice?
My IDP rant.
No, I like it. In a rebuild, do I move Rice in a late first for Nabers? I have 7 firsts in the next 2 years. I think this is getting too cute to get points off your roster. Like, I'm not adding a first onto Rice for Nabers. Like, I love Nabers, but you're taking on the ACL tear injury risk, and we talked about it on the other side of the deal. It's like, what if Rice does smash? And people like Rice, man. People want Rice to smash. So if Rice comes out week 1 and Worthy's hurt and the Chiefs offense is looking better and they cannot run the ball, if Rice comes out week one for him and goes 7 for 90 and a score, he's Malik Nabers.
I want him to smash on the field, not off the field. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious.
I'm making you go full screen after that.
I'm curious if you do like, what's the threshold? Like, is it Rice in a second, or is it just like Rice for Nabers straight up? Like, if you're like, hey, I'm a rebuilder, Rice is back, would you just send Rice straight up for Nabers and be like, let's just run it back?
Am I an ass? Why do I have to add onto Rice for like something meaningful onto Rice for Nabers? Like, shouldn't it feel the other way around?
KeepTradeCut says he's like wide receiver 3.
I'm just so anti, like, and I bought Nabers, man. On my taking team, I sent Pickens and Breece and a 2nd and a 3rd. But why am I bailing out the Nabers guy, the ACL tear wide receiver, for Rice in a first? Even Rice in a 2nd.
Yeah, I mean,
if your team is truly tanking, like truly tanking, I could see myself I still want to get something back that is like, I'll give you two contending pieces. You can have my Rice and you can have my whatever Rico Dowdle for DeAndre Swift. Rice and DeAndre Swift for Nabers and a pick. Give me Nabers in a second. Give me something back that makes more sense for the way I'm building my team. Like I'm not going to give you a first on top of the bailout.
Yeah, this is it's hard. I think maybe Rice in a second, but still, like, I also just think, like, not to be like,
I think it's fine.
To, pull out the therapy couch, but be like,
are you gonna say I am an ass?
Man, you just
is that what you're gonna say?
No, I'm just gonna say this guy just went through a year and a half of Rice suspension and ACL recovery, and he's like, let's do it. I want more. Let's do a whole another year of
dude.
Waiting for a new story to drop that makes me feel good about it.
How your Dynasty team's looking? Well, Dynasty Daddy, look at how high that bar graph is. Maybe I'm killing it. But maybe not after you move a first on top of no, it's I'm not bailing out.
I'm definitely not moving a first.
I think Phil, if you are you're doing this, you are like bailing out the Nabers manager so much, and you need to look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're doing that, and then go back to the trade negotiation and say, I'm helping you out, buddy. You give me something back.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a top 10 wide receiver potentially rest of season with all these injuries going on.
Yeah. This is interesting. I will say historically trying to save your franchise on a Baker, Goff, Darnold type is very bad practice. Like, I do think that it's an interesting convo because we've seen so many of these guys like be part of what feels like elite offenses that it starts to feel like this is the future. And we just had the conversation about the rookies in this upcoming class. Mm-hmm. But I think these are all unique situations. And I do think like offensive scheme wise, like not only did like Goff come from the Rams and go into the Lions in terms of like good offensive line, great situation, turnaround franchise with, Dan Campbell and, Ben Johnson the first couple seasons there. But you get Darnold going to Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings and then gets to go to the Seahawks. Like, I mean, Baker's just a dog. So, I mean, yeah, he got to have a little time with Sean McVay there for a little bit. But I do think that is a good point in terms of like the rookie quarterback conversation. Because for every Baker and Darnold like reclamation project, there's a failed attempt, but both of those guys had failed reclamation attempts with other teams, I mean, both with the Panthers.
I'll be honest though, with Baker I kind of think is a different situation than either of them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
starting with the Browns.
Yeah, but like even like Baker underperformed with like a known injury that entire year. And then they still gave up on him because they were like, not because they're like, we don't want Baker, but more of like, oh, we could get Deshaun Watson type deal.
Right.
Like we could, so it was more like
that is unique
them
for sure.
being like, then I have to buy in. And then
situation matters so much more than people want to admit for quarterbacks. Yeah. Like it's always like, who's the best QB? Like he's got great arm talent and look at this anticipation. And it's like, yes, obviously those things matter, but like scheme and supporting cast and offensive line, like all this stuff is a huge piece of the pie for QBs in real life and fantasy production.
Yeah. I do think the Darnold situation, like I think Darnold and Geno are more apt comparisons of players that like probably should have been done historically. Like those are the outliers.
Tried to write me off.
Goff's worst year was his first season. His rookie year was his roughest. Yeah. And then they brought in McVay and they kind of fixed it. He never really was bad after that. He wasn't as great as Stafford, but he never was bad. But Darnold and Geno were just like, no one wanted that.
QBs are not old until 35 at a minimum. I love this. And I also think it's interesting because Cody, we're starting to get questions about how do you guys feel about Josh Allen? Like, is his running going to regress? Like heading into like his early mid 30s, and it's like, bro, let me just take my QB1 to QB3 finish every single season and just lock that in for the rest of the time he's gonna play quarterback.
Yeah, I mean that is the most secure thing you could have.
I do see one more. I did want to touch on this. We just saw this one, and I want to go lightning mode on all the ones we're missing right now. Before I take this cough drop and go to bed. Can we count Daniel Jones into the Goff Darnold territory yet, or still too early? I do think. I mean, the way this Colts offense look, top of the division right now. I mean, this Colts team makes the playoffs. Even if he loses, they lose first game or second game. Like, don't you think Daniel Jones has played his way into at least another year, if not a 2-year extension? Similar to the way he's gotten with the Giants previously.
I mean, Colts are just going to re-sign him.
Dude, we didn't talk about the Anthony Richardson injury. That was crazy. The pregame warm-up, he put himself on IR. I don't want to laugh because it's a grown man who's like experienced some troubles, and you don't want to laugh at injuries at all. But he put himself on IR, basically. Pregame warm-ups with the band. Crazy. I hope he's okay. Prayers up for my guy, Rich.
I've never seen someone like look like Hercules, but also like made of glass.
Yeah. Dimes first and second minimum. Yeah, I don't think, man, if you can get dimes for anything, like anything less than a first, you're probably not at this point for sure. But yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I mean,
which is so funny.
Dude, Dimes is definitely one of those guys where you just got to say, hey, like, dude, I would not be moving Dimes. I'd be like, what was the starter I was expecting to start instead of Dimes?
Oh, yeah.
I would move that guy. Because that probably has more time to marinate as, this guy's worth a first and a second.
And the world would really, it really is like the 10th percentile outcome, in my opinion, for him to not get some sort of, he's playing for the Colts next season. And once that news hits, like 1 year, 2-year deal, that is going to not just boost like the price, but like lock it in terms of the entire league now sees Daniel Jones as an asset that you can move. Yeah, band ripped off a part of the wall and hit him in the eye. It's insane. They had another.
That must hurt so bad.
Didn't they? They had another. What's going on pregame for the Colts, man?
It was Chardavius. What's his name? Darius Ward.
Yeah,
the cornerback. He like ran into somebody and just like concussed himself.
Perfect timing for the mock draft drinking game suggestion. Okay, I'm always down. AJ Lee.
The fruity drink.
I should have clicked this earlier. Look at this first sentence. Great trade vid last week. Come on, good job, us. Made my own AJ Brown trade right before the vid dropped.
AJ approved.
Acquired AJ and Shaheed for a 26 mid first and a third. That's like one of those deals where I think is probably like pretty fair on both sides. Like I do like Shaheed, but like I could see certain teams, like, if you're 1-4, 1 and whatever at this point, and you're like, let me get some value for this receiver for a first. But hey, let's go.
I'm curious what happens if AJ Brown is traded. Like all of a sudden everyone's like, oh my gosh, you got AJ Brown plus for a first. Like I think the narrative can change on AJ Brown very quickly if he's like traded to like the Bills. I don't know if that would happen, but that would be insane.
I think Shaheed is more likely to go to the Bills than AJ Brown. That would be sick too.
AJ Brown to the Bills would just be like oh my gosh.
They would never do that. Incredible. I mean, unless he really made a stink, which I think he's just going to make a quiet stink. But no, he had a good game. The L's don't matter, right? Get AJ Brown some receiving yards. Let's go. The 20 mil dead cap in 2026. Dude, the Aaron Glenn stuff is, and I mean, I'm a Lions guy. I like Aaron Glenn, but it is hard for me to support and agree with him, like talking back on that reporter. Was it -10 net passing yards? Porter asks, is Justin Fields starting quarterback? And he's like, what kind of ridiculous question is that? That is a perfectly normal question after what we just watched in London, man. Shout out to all my blokes that had to watch that. Jeez, that is brutal. Yeah, do you want to do? Let's do the quick Fields thing. I mean, we're not a big pat ourselves in the back channel, but I think it should have been understood if you watched any amount of Justin Fields that for fantasy he is a very great give me production for a year bet, even with this 2-year contract, and anything on top of that is just I'm free rolling, and that's why I know we were talking about it with Ray, like you're not moving first for Fields, but creative ways you can get the production, I'm fine with. Right now, are you even trying to buy Fields in creative ways, cheap ways to plug into your QB2? It's going to be tough without Garrett Wilson. I mean, you could probably buy him cheaper after this next week.
Only if I'm like so desperate. Like if I'm so desperate at quarterback. I mean, that's after I try to hit up the Daniel Jones manager that might not realize Daniel Jones is getting that big contract. Like there's a lot of guys I'm probably hitting up. I had to get down to the point where I'm like, maybe I buy Rattler or Justin Fields. Then maybe I'll just say fine. I'll give a shout out to the Ringer pod, the fantasy pod.
Oh yeah.
They have the best synopsis of Justin Fields, and they're just like, he's someone that you start in your lineup and you don't watch the game. And you come back and you're like, oh, there's 24 points. Cool. Like you don't want to watch that game ever. But yeah, I mean, he is what it is.
Yeah. Denver defense is tough. I'm not going to say like he's just not an NFL quarterback, man. He is awesome. He is fun. He just like cannot read defenses, hold on to the ball, cannot throw with anticipation, which is like such a bummer for Garrett Wilson. In terms of like, dude, you get, I don't know. I traded Garrett Wilson away in the Charlie Daddy Best Ball League. We could take a look at that before we close out here, but we're going lightning mode. Jake, 12 by 10, Superflex PPR 1.5 10 premium. Herbert, Kyler, Bryce, CMC, Jency, Harvey, Benson, Nabers, Rip, dang, Igbuka, oof. Ladd, Waddle, okay, pretty deep at receiver though. Pearsall, Ridley in a 12 by 10. Kraft, 226 first, a second, a third, 227 first, listed as Frixie. Trade CMC or go for the crown. I mean, Herbert, Kyler, Bryce, CMC, Jency,
Harvey, Benson,
not very deep at running back, but like if you're rolling out CMC, Jency, I'm feeling decent about it.
I mean, do you trade the 27 or 26 second for like a Swift or something, just so you can like?
The tough thing is this receiver room post Igbuka MRI, depending on what that news is, because no Nabers, potentially no Igbuka for the next couple weeks. Ladd, I mean, I'm fine starting Ladd, Waddle, Pearsall, but you're going to have to find two other starters, because if you're going 2, 4, yeah.
My question is, are you frisky and there's like 2 teams above you, or are you frisky just and there's
5.
like 8 teams competing? Because if there's like a lot of teams competing and you're like, well, I might be like on the fringe. Like this is where I was at with one of my teams. I had CD, I had Rice, I had James Conner, I had CMC. Yeah, I had like a bunch of guys, but a lot of them got injured. A lot of my, I had Jaden Reed, guys I expected to be plug and play guys at certain ranges on my team, all get injured. And I sat here and I was like, my team could technically make the playoffs, but I don't know if I want to risk what happens if CMC gets injured. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting here with a team that, is missing out on a lot of the fun. So for me, I have to be realistic of like, am I like the 6th or 7th best team? Then sure, can I get good value for CMC? I'm going to trade them. But if I'm like 3 or 4, let me move a second, buy like a gross player, 2/3, get me a Tony Pollard, just build up some depth that I can play, and then just kind of hope that the good games come my way. You said 3 contenders. Will, you're on mute, apparently.
Okay. I was blowing my nose.
There we go.
You guys missed a great analysis. And that's what you need to do, Jake, to win this season in Dynasty Fantasy Football.
That couldn't have said any better.
Okay. I collected my thoughts. I got to practice. So let me know the record, Jake. I said that like 3 times actually to nobody, or just Jeremy, I guess.
Just me.
If your team is like you're kind of on the borderline, you're like maybe 4th, 5th, you're 3-3, maybe even 4-2. Like, I'm fine rolling with this team, trying to find a cheap way to buy like a receiver or running back, like we talked about Swift, or, whatever you think. I mean, Swift's probably tough after this last week, but whatever kind of cheap running back production you can get. Because the thing with CMC, the injury stuff, I think you throw your hands in the air and you're like, if it happens, it happens. But I think the CMC prices right now for contenders right before trade deadline time, if you have one, or right before the playoffs, like if CMC is still scoring, he's getting 7-8 targets a game, and he's giving you Purdy's back and he's scoring 20 to 25 points. Like, you are still going to get a decent return for that heading into the playoffs. Like, that is still difference making enough versus like Derrick Henry, or where you're like, I hope the production's elite. It's like, dude, CMC has, I think, proven that this workload is going to be elite through the end of the season. 4th place, 4-2, most max points 4, 3rd points 4. Yeah, I would be fine.
You go.
You go for sure.
Yeah, you got seconds and thirds. Let's patch some holes.
Like,
get
yes,
back in there.
You could probably find a way to trade CMC in another contending piece for a first, but like, or you could just kind of treat Nabers like he's your first. That's your first round pick you have for next season. It's Malik Nabers coming back from the torn ACL.
He also has 226 first and 227 first. So it's not like you're desperate for first. Like, for example, the team I traded CMC on, I had a first round pick in 26, 27, and 28. No seconds, no thirds. Well, I had my 28 seconds and third. But like, I was kind of pick deprived. I was like, I can't really patch this together really easily. So for me, the hit of passing up on a first and a second for CMC, if he did get injured in a league that's very stingy with picks, I was like, I just have to take that, because the outcome of CMC getting hurt is way worse than me saying, dang, like I could have been the 6th seed with CMC healthy. Like I'm just like, it's much easier to miss the playoffs, have a first round pick. But I think in the situation you're at, I'm saying, let me patch some holes. Let me get back in there, because I mean, you might not be labeled a contender on my site, but 4-2, you're in the mix for a bye.
Yeah. This is kind of interesting. Is J.K. Dobbins equal to Jordan Mason PPR? I mean, these feel like very similar type assets, where I feel like these are two running backs that have claimed their stake on the like early down rushing workload. Mm-hmm. I'd probably like lean J.K. Dobbins like when all running backs are healthy, like once Aaron Jones is back, in terms of like my expectation for like production on any given week, just based off of, I mean, Denver offense didn't look good this last week, but overall expectations for the future with all running backs healthy. So they're pretty similar. Do you have a hard preference, J.K. Dobbins or Jordan Mason? You have a 2-year deal with Mason?
I'm much higher on J.K. Dobbins for this year. Just because like Mason, I mean, we're going to have Aaron Jones come back at some point. I don't think Aaron Jones plays the same role as Mason in the offense, but I mean, I don't think Dobbins is the clear one right now until something changes.
Yeah.
And Harvey could come on later, but for me, I don't think Mason is a clear one.
Come on, what? Because
I think they play different roles.
Because no, dude, we got the bidet out of there, right? Jaleel McLaughlin right back in, taken into the RJ Harvey workload. 4th of a difference. Yeah, I think they're pretty similar.
I was so excited for that one RJ Harvey game, man.
I would take any plus. I would take any plus. Like if there was like, I can get Mason in a third or JK in a third. But yeah, I agree. I would prefer, like, the thing is, like, I was bringing up the like Mason contract versus where JK's at right now, but I think JK's, if he wants to take a team friendly deal to stay for another season, especially with like what his career has been in terms of kind of team hopping and Chargers not bringing him back, wouldn't be surprised at all if that happens. And I think he's played well. I mean, last game was pretty bad, but it was bad all around for Denver.
Denver is fun.
All right, 12 team. Sorry, you got something for me?
I do have something for you.
All right.
I don't know if we talked about this. Thoughts on selling Burrow for Caleb and ETN in Superflex? From M. Khan.
I would want to know the format probably, but I'd probably be fine doing this.
That's the free bingo space.
All right, 6 point passing touchdown. makes me want to hold on to the Burrow Bengals upside. But
I'm curious. So, like we talked earlier, Nabers for Bryce in the first. Yeah. And you're like, don't bail the guy out. And now you're talking about Caleb Williams and ETN for Burrow. Isn't that
these things are not the same? No,
type of package?
Don't do this. These are not the same.
Kind of
this is a good bailout though.
Package.
This is a good bailout though, and we don't have the context of the teams either. So, but I do think that this is a nice enough bailout.
Caleb Williams averaging 19 points per game right now. And on top of that, you get ETN.
Aren't you the Tootin guy? No, I'm just kidding.
I kind of feel like
it's a good bailout. It's a good bailout. I feel like
Caleb straight up for Burrow should be like
healthy. Yeah, healthy quarterback, Superflex. I'm fine with it. Like if I'm
gonna give you some pushback here.
No, it was a good pushback. It was well deserved. All right, but you did make me unclick. Boom, found it. AJ Lee again. What's up? 12 team Superflex PPR teams currently 4-2 with a running back room of Chase Brown, Montgomery, and Charbonnet. Who would you attach a second rounder to up tier here possibly? This is the up tiers at running backs are tough with these three guys.
Yeah.
Maybe you can do it with Monty with the like the tough thing is like you could do it with Monty, but like Monty's kind of the one where I'm kind of like for his current value, I'll just like make the bet that he's going to be better.
Yeah.
With this last report of they want to like use the split the backfield up more. I mean, can you send Charbonnet in a second to the the thing is like I want to send Charbonnet in a second to the Kenneth Walker manager. Because there's some people that like that kind of stuff, but they're not. I bet you they don't want to give you running back.
Okay, so let's just do hypotheticals here. Chase Brown in a second for Derrick Henry.
No, I'm not doing that.
Chase Brown in a second for Judkins.
Yes.
For Breece Hall.
Begrudgingly.
For Kyren Williams.
Yeah. I'm not begrudgingly. I do it for Breece.
Like I do feel like, I was about to say you're the biggest Breece guy.
I'm so battle tested.
Chase Brown is RB17 on Dynasty Daddy right now. RB16 Derrick Henry, RB15 Judkins, RB14 Hall, and RB13 is Kyren.
Dude. I feel like I'm on an island with Chase Brown. I don't feel like he carries that value in the streets at all. And running backs do.
I feel like if you can get that value. I'm just saying. I just flip a Chase Brown?
I don't know if you can, guys. Do you, the viewer, do any of you think that you can get any of those guys for Chase Brown in a second? Maybe Derrick Henry. I could see that one, but I don't feel like I could see even after this last game with Breece. All Kyren, you would do Henry, Cody. On a contender, I kind of get you just want to get the production. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just do I have Chase Brown blinders on that he's losing snaps to Samaje?
I feel like Judkins would be hard. I feel like Judkins would be the hardest one to get. Like I don't think that's super realistic. I do feel like you could probably get Breece Hall.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get a Kyren.
I would try. I would try this kind of moves for Breece after this last week, and maybe people want to make the same bet that they're like, you know what? I'm getting a free second because Chase Brown's going to suck this year and Breece Hall's going to suck this year because the Jets suck and the Bengals suck. All right. I'm going lightning mode. I'm not taking that personally. Huh? All right. Good to know. Thank you. Thank you, Condranos, for heeding the call. Wait, he says Jeremy knows this team. RBs are Hall, Bill, Benson, top 3 RBs, JSN, Tet, Olave, Myers, Dubs, Shakir. I think this is the 3 quarterback team that had May, Penix.
Yeah, we did that one.
Yeah, okay.
Did we do the subtle chip? Good evening, gents. I'm baking a pecan pie.
Let's go.
Speaking of baker, I hardly knew her. Are we putting in waiver bids for Tez Johnson or waiting for Ibuka to come back?
I think you put in the Tez Johnson bid. I think anytime that you can get like rookie receivers in good situations that might have like a 1 to 2 game sample size of like they're just going to be thrusted into a great role, like that could easily turn into a 4th round pick, you know. And I'm always putting in waiver claims for those. The Cameron Johnson one is a little bit tougher for me, just because I just like prospect wise, like, okay, Tez Johnson is tiny, but like there's some fun stuff with Tez Johnson. Like he's a name that people know.
He was good in college.
Yeah. So like those kind of names that people know, I'm always making the waiver claims for if they're thrust into roles. All right, we are going Omega Lightning mode. Will's calling cough drop audible. Yep, league that is willing to trade players.
You got Barner or Theo Johnson from XXL.
Oh, Barner looks good, man. Okay, the last Barner reception was like totally broken coverage, crazy play. Mm-hmm. And I do like Elijah Arroyo, but I think Barner looks good, man. And these these tight end ranges, I kind of just want like good offenses, right? In good situations. But Gadsden, I think is the number one for me with this usage. The big thing for me too was he had that like really bad fumble, like costly one that led to an Achane score, and like immediately was still back in the same role. And I think that's pretty big because Disley was active. Yeah, I'm not like overhyped on
the way
Gadsden.
Hardball talks about him. Sometimes,
dude, if Hardball doesn't talk great about you though, I don't want you, you're not sniffing any of my rosters. If you're on the Chargers and you know,
I need him to talk about like he's like Gadsden's a player you would make a movie about. I'm like, what? Like I don't know what that means, but I'm like I guess it means something good.
You know, his wife is so tired hearing about how awesome all the players perform in practices and games.
Oh yeah.
No, she probably loves it. I didn't mean that, Mrs. Harbaugh.
If she's listening.
I tried Metcalf in a first for Nabers in my shell league to middle league team. I was looking at the playoffs. He's not going for it. Yeah, I think you have to come with a little bit more juice than Metcalf. Like anytime I was getting like Nabers offers,
Bryce is probably as low as you get.
Yeah, and that's also because it has a little bit of uncertainty tied to it too. But yeah, I agree.
Like Rome, Ladd,
Ooh, it's an interesting one. 12 team. Wilson. Yeah, 12 team start 8. If I can get Waddle for a late first, do I take it and run? 12 team start 8. Man, that is so shallow.
I think I do. I think it's shallow. You're probably going to have a bunch of different Waddle type players.
Yeah. I mean, Waddle is probably going to perform like you would want a receiver his age for the rest of the season to perform for a first round pick. But and I like Waddle too, which makes it tough. But I don't know how confident I feel about this.
He's going to be 27 next year, though.
Really? Where'd all the time go? Man, I gotta recheck my player ages because I did not expect that. I like Barner. Just pick them a dynasty. I do like Barner as well. All right, where are we at? Best ball waivers only for a test for me. Yeah, I've gotten some Sterling Shepard on best ball. Like my order would probably be Tez, Shepard, Cam Johnson, but they're not ruling it out. I think the reports were the Bucks were hoping that Evans would practice this week, and we've seen in the past them rush that old scholar back from hamstring injuries a little bit too quickly. And if there was ever a time for them to do it, it would be when they were going to roll out the Johnson brothers and Sterling Shepard and Cade Otton. Shout out, guys, make your waiver claims for Cade Otton in your leagues where you don't have any tight ends. I dropped him for Jacoby Brissett in my super shallow league, and I'll tell you what, I'm making that claim right back right now. Agreed. All right, this is the final. I'm calling it. And
final one.
We can quick touch on my Charlie Daddy league. I told Diaz I would touch on it. So Diaz, if you made it this far, I'll give you my breakdown because I don't think Diaz liked my trade.
I know Diaz has made it this far. Diaz definitely made it this far.
All right. Kyron, JK, Rice for Bucky, Irving, Tua, Jordan Addison. PPR and Superflex 12 team, even or uneven? Man, there's a lot of interesting parts of this deal.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Tua. I do love Bucky. Oh man, do I just take the? Is this like a good? You don't need Tua, so you use him to get like the Kyron production for this season, the Rice upgrade, and JK is a fine addition.
I think so, especially in PPR. Like the uncertainty around Addison.
Bucky's hurt right now.
Tua. Bucky's hurt right now. I get Rashee Rice, who let's look. I don't want to be the overreaction guy here, but Rashee Rice was Dynasty wide receiver like 10 before all the stuff happened. Yeah. Not saying he'll be back there, but I mean he certainly has that outcome of coming in, dropping 20 points a game, being in one of the high-powered offenses, tied to Mahomes, who's throwing the ball a lot more now.
They cannot run the ball, man. You know who can. I mean, and Pacheco got a little bit more usage this last game. You know who can run the ball? How about 5-yard targets to Rashee Rice? That's how you run the ball for this Kansas City Chiefs offense.
It's gonna be something.
All right, I said it was the last one, but I can't do it. I love the game too much. Well,
Tyler lured us back
every time I want to get out, they bring me right back in. 10-man dynasty, top 2 contenders, sending Genty, McConkey, and Fannin. A 26 first and a 27 first for McCaffrey and Jamar Chase. I don't know if I'm doing this. Genty, McConkey, Fannin, and 2 firsts for McCaffrey and Jamar. I mean, I get that's the price you got to pay for Jamar, but man, the tough thing is like that. This is not the time, and very excited for what Flacco I think will do for Jamar Chase, but like I don't know if this is the time I want to be sending 2 firsts plus Genty plus McConkey plus Fannin. You're already a top 2 contender as well. Like, can I find a more creative way? Can I get Puka somehow? Oh, he has Puka.
He already has Puka.
You have Achane and Gibbs and Nakua. Do you need CMC? Is my thing. Like, this is the thing where
my question is, I'm not trading for CMC.
You're a top 2 contender. Yeah, you're a top 2 contender. And I think that's the trap you can fall into. You're like, it's shallow. F these picks. Who needs them? But it's like, man, we talked about it before. Like the flexibility of having first round picks and using them when you need them versus you're already top 2 and you have Puka and HN and Gibbs. And like maybe Puka is out this next game and it hurts. Yeah, and Genty. Jeez. On top of that. And I assume your other receivers, I mean, you have McConkey here. Like, what other receivers do you have? You're going to give me 2 names. If you tell me you have like CD coming back from injury and something, like, you're definitely not doing this.
Oh, I got Rice, Jason.
Top 6 wide receiver flag pan. Thanks for the stream, guys. Hey, don't worry. We're gonna hit my Charlie Daddy trade, and then we're going to hit Tyler's sick receiver room. Tell him not to send away these firsts, even though it's Jamar Chase, Hurts, Bowers, Warren, and Mike Evans. I mean, if you're really like shallow at receiver and you like really want to get that upgrade, I don't think I can do it. I'm just probably plugging in cheaper, and
it's tough to have Bowers, Warren, and Fannin. Like, I wonder if you could trade like Warren for like a wide receiver.
Yeah. The tough thing is like with the Bowers injury right now, like I get it kind of feels good to kind of hold on to that. Maybe you can trade Bowers to a tanking team for, whatever dynasty equivalent receiver they have. And if you want to use picks to do that. But to me, it's like going Genty to McCaffrey for this season. Yes. Love Genty to McCaffrey in terms of like this season production, this season workload. Same with Lad McConkey to Chase. But it's just not 2 firsts difference for me, especially when you consider the dynasty aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, your team's already loaded. You have HN, Gibbs, and Genty. I don't want to break that up. You also got Nakua. I'd probably be looking at, can I get value for Warren? It's probably going to be hard to get value for tight ends like Fannin in a 10-man team when you start one tight end. So can I get value for Warren with a lot of the hype?
Yeah.
And get like some sort of wide receiver production I feel better about.
All right.
Can I get whether it's old or new?
Ultra Omega Lightning mode. Have 3 receivers on the same value if you sold. Which would you sell? Addison, Olave, QJ. I am selling Addison. I actually think this might be an interesting combo where the one I could see myself valuing the least in the future, I think I can get the most for, just based off of the couple games he just had and coming off the bye week here. Are you different? I mean, QJ's coming off the injury too. I still think there's some.
I would sell Addison. I think he's the one that has like the clearest, like best vibes.
Best, like he's close enough in like good vibes.
We're just going vibes at this point.
And I like the upside of Olave and QJ in terms
Olave
of like
has the concussion scaries. And then like QJ is just an absolute stud.
All right, here's the trade. This is a shout out to Big Diaz. If you made it to the end, Big Diaz, leave a comment and say I made it to the end. W trade Will. I don't think he likes this one. I traded away my first. This is Will's first best ball league. I am not a best ball guy. And I did my cardinal sin I never do, and I traded away a first. And it is a start
two. Away another first?
No, it is a start 2 tight end. 0.75 tight end premium. So like the tight end scoring is important. And what is this? 12 starters? 13 starters? We checked this last time.
I can't view it on the
All right. I traded away
12 starters.
Achane, Garrett Wilson, Colston Loveland, and Isaiah Davis, and a fourth and $5 fab for Rashee Rice, Quinshon Judkins, Sterling Shepard, Tucker Kraft, and a third. I believe Diaz hates this one because the delta from Achane to Quinshon does not make up in his mind the difference in value between the others. And I get that. And this was actually before this last game. So this was before Achane's monster game. Here's the will take.
Yes.
And this was actually before the Quinshon dud game too as well, which was a bummer. Divisional game against the Steelers after their bye week, brutal. I am nervous about the Quinshon passing stuff in PPR leagues. So like I get that delta feels a little bit stronger than what dynasty ranking value, but I believe Quinshon is bell cow. I think he looks like a stud bell cow, a running back. I don't think he's going to get the pass catching workload, but to me, I feel like worst case scenario Brown stuff, he's looked good enough for me to feel okay enough. Garrett Wilson, I do not believe in the production we saw at the beginning of the season. And I think best case scenario for Garrett Wilson is Tyrod Taylor starts for this team. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to ride Justin Fields until this team is drafting a rookie quarterback next season. And then it's like Fields and a rookie quarterback. And I'm a Rice believer. That's step 1. 2, on a team that I traded away my first, I just do not have time in this format to wait around for Colston Loveland. So I will make the trade for Tucker Kraft in a better situation. Scored a touchdown this last game, makes me feel a little bit better about it. And as a Colston Loveland guy, I am going to capitulate and say it's probably going to take DJ Moore, some sort of, we saw more of a breakout for Luther Burden in this last game. So I think I'm fine getting out of that bet, taking on Tucker Kraft, who I think will give me spike weeks. I don't know if he'll give me consistent weeks. Give me your take. Is moving off of Achane too much? And then third, fourth, just to sleep at night.
I like your side of the deal better. If that makes you feel better. As someone, I think I'm doing good in this league. I think this is one of my leagues I'm doing good in.
Yeah, you're
I'm just using it to say, hey, like I know that.
Yeah, somebody that knows about best ball likes my side of the trade.
Yeah, I have a decent track record in this league. I am 11-1, but
lucky.
What I wanted to say is I think the value jump from Wilson to Rice is basically the same at most or at worst, right? I probably like Rice more just given situation. I think Achane is fine. I think Achane certainly to Judkins isn't a huge drop. Like I think Judkins we've seen so far. I feel like I echo your sentiment with Judkins.
I do think I think the upside part is probably the biggest thing in terms of like contending for this year. I think Achane, like he has 6-7 reception, 1 to 2 touchdown games in him. I don't think Judkins has that. So I could totally understand that side. If you were like, well, it's way too much, Achane to Quinshon, too much of a drop off. I get that part of it.
Yeah. I think so. When I look at those kind of cancel out to me in my mind. In terms of like value, what really jumps out to me is Colston Loveland is mostly a 0 on my roster, and it sucks.
And you have to hold him.
Expensive 0. Yeah, it's an expensive 0, and being able to go from him to currently, and I know you kind of were like, I'll get spike weeks from tight end 10 in fantasy football right now, and he also had his bye already. So I mean, this dude is locked in. 2 tight end league, tight end premium. You want all those tight ends. Part of the reason my team is good in this format is because I have Laporta as kind of an anchor, but then I have Otten, Jonnu, Musgrave, Gray, Dennis Allen, Higbee, Long. Like, I just have a plethora of these guys that will hit my lineup every single week. These random dudes just hit my lineup. I mean, Mitchell Evans, I think I have on there. There's like gross players that will hit my lineup, and the fact that you borderline got an anchor level tight end already. Like, you hope Loveland becomes a craft type in terms of production, and you already addressed probably the most important position in that league. And then on top of it, I would much rather have a Sterling Shepard type wide receiver over an Isaiah Davis type running back, where it's like it's like 1 point, 0 point, 4 points. Whereas if you look at Sterling Shepard, he had 12 points. He had 2 12-point games. Those are probably cracking your lineup in a best ball league, especially one that's start 12. So for me, like, loading up on the Sterling Shepard type of wide receivers is much better than those backup handcuffed running backs in a best ball format. So that's kind of really what convinces me to lean your way, even if I'm slightly downgrading on the high end running back of Achane. To me, you're rounding out your best ball roster better with tight end in a start 2 tight end with tight end premium. That position's the big upgrade. Is like, we hope Loveland becomes a guy, but I mean, Loveland, his best performance was 4.85 points. Like, I easily live with that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Suck it, Big T. I'm just kidding. No, I think there's validity to like Achane being such a difference maker. Yeah, I think there's validity to Achane. And I talked to shout out to Scott, who was on the other side of this trade. It is very much a player takey thing where, like, end of this season, wow, Colson Loveland, like, really involved. He just had a 5, 6, 7 reception game. Wow, looking pretty good for your side. I mean, the Garrett Wilson injury makes it a little bit sketchier, but all right, final question, Noah. Close out of this. Is Jake Ferguson a sell high, or should I keep him? The tough thing with like Jake Ferguson types is, like, it's not a mystery to anybody that CD Lamb has been out for both Jake Ferguson and George Pickens, and he's coming back like this next week, most likely. So that's the tough part of this, like the sell high aspect, but the production has been so insane. In like non-tenant premium leagues, I'm very much willing to move off of Ferguson to, fill out another positional, but I like the offense. Like, the thing is, like, Jake Ferguson's kind of the exact type of tight end I kind of want to have in these leagues. Like, yeah, he's not going to be a top 2 target. Like, that's ideal for the tight end you're playing in fantasy, but pass heavy offense, Dak Prescott balling out, I'm down. So he's a sell high you can get the value for it.
Yeah, I guess like that's the real question. And to me, I wonder if your roster was like, I am just going to ride with Jake Ferguson as is. Right? This might be a thing where it's like, oh, maybe I sell the guy I felt better about heading into the season and just live with the ups and downs of a Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
Because the volume, the passing volume, the lack of defense that the Dallas Cowboys can generate, they're going to have to throw the ball whether or not CeeDee Lamb is getting 14 targets or not. Jake Ferguson's going to be involved. And, it might be hard for people to technically give elite value. Like, some of these trades are like not the most exciting from what I was looking at, like Ferguson for Kamara, like Hollywood and Jake Ferguson for Travis Etienne and AJ Garner. Like, you got to explore them, but you might not get the elite value you want, and just kind of have to accept that Jake Ferguson's what you got to live with.
Definitely. All right. I'm hitting it.
Isn't bad. He's 25 points a game. So.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm hitting at the outro button. Appreciate you all. Thank you for hanging out. We'll see you at the channel here Thursday for the next video that's going to drop. Much love. See you next Tuesday. If we don't see you before then, in the Discord, link in the description. Shout out to Jeremy, #1, Scott Fishbowl, current champion through 6 weeks. We'll see if he'll maintain. Catch you next week. Much love. Peace out.